Dylan Jackson.
Okay.
We'll see if that changes.
You know, I really think that, you know, past history on this thing, you know, they're going to be conservative offenses. They're going to hand the ball off to Carr, and then you may see a play-action pass early, so I wouldn't take any chances on them early.
Yeah, we're going to play straight early and just play, you know, find out what they can do, make them hurt us with the fullback before we, you know, come at them.
Okay. I tell you what, too, on the first series, you know, they're not going to take it to the corner. They're going to wait until they find out how we're playing the option play. So I don't see us really needing to give them a bunch of quarterback stunts or anything like that right off the first series. We got to need some help on the sideline. Mike, you can help Butch, because they're going to have all this stuff down there. It's a crowded sideline. They're in there close. And so help us out. We can get the strength coaches to help us on that thing, too, if we can keep all the people back. And so we've had some problems on that before. We need to, as far as any type of different looks in the box, Tony, as far as a punt block.
Yeah. I'll be talking hard about that, right?
If they have shown anything different than what they showed like last week against Texas, because they had the little back coming up off the sideline, anything different, now you need to let us know right off the bat so we can correct it on the sideline. I think the guys are ready to play. I tell you, they've been in big ball games before, so the crowd's not going to be a big bother to them. I really don't believe it's going to be a bother. Let's get after them on the thing. All right.
Miami is an independent, does not belong to a conference. The only championship available, the big one. So this is a very, very big ball game for the Hurricanes of Miami against Oklahoma. The Miami Hurricanes from the Deep South against the Oklahoma Sooners. Vinny Testaverde, Miami quarterback, leads the Hurricane offense. A big play quarterback in 5 games. The Canes have had 5 scoring plays from beyond 69 yards. Oklahoma has a new man at the controls this year, Troy Aikman. A wishbone quarterback must be able to run. Aikman can. And Coach Barry Switzer thinks Aikman is the best passer he's had in many seasons.
CFA College Football. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet. It's 1986 at your Chevy dealers now. Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy. By the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start. By GTE. We can do business with your business. And by GMAC, the financial services people from General Motors.
The Miami Hurricanes, 4-1. Many people think they should be in the top 20. They lost their opening game to Florida. They have won their last 4. The head coach is Jimmy Johnson. His second year, his record is 12-6. Head coach 5 years at Oklahoma State. He has never beaten the Oklahoma Sooners. He thinks he's got a chance today. It is the 64th consecutive sellout here at Memorial Stadium, Owen Field. It is the home opener for the Oklahoma Sooners. They are 3-0, ranked 2nd in the nation. Didn't start their season until September 28th. They have defeated Minnesota, Kansas State, and Texas. The coach is Barry Switzer, his 13th season, 118, 23, and 4. The best winning percentage among 1A coaches with 5 years or more at their job. And they come into this game showing the top defense in the nation. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson, along with Frank Broyles, our analyst. Frank, you coached both these coaches at Arkansas, and you had both Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer on your staff at Arkansas. Tell us about them.
Well, Barry Switzer, Keith, was just a deliberate football player. He didn't like changes. He played by technique, and his team reflects the same way. On offense, they can run the football. On defense, they can run to the win, and he likes to stay with what he believes in. On the other hand, Jimmy Johnson was a fiery, emotional football player, Keith. In fact, he was so good, we let him play his own way. He dared to do the unexpected. and he made a lot of big plays, and his team plays exactly the same way. And the comfort factor for him today is that his team can run a throw, and they'll be very unpredictable, and that's the best chance for his team to beat Oklahoma.
We always try to look to one or two things in the early going here to give us a reason to read in the first quarter. It looks to me like the single most important factor will be whether or not the Miami offensive front can protect Testaverde and their quarterback and keep that Oklahoma defensive front four out of there.
If the minimum rush of 4 can pressure the passer, then that destroys the game plan for Miami. They've got to be able to protect them with this inexperienced offensive line.
All right, suppose they can't now. Does Miami have enough running ability, in your opinion, to hurt Oklahoma?
Miami has the best combination of running and passing of any team that we've seen this year, and they don't care which way they win. They can do it either way.
And this is the day Barry Switzer and his coaching staff expecting that the Miami defense is not a gimme either. They think they're going to have to expand their offensive planning before this day is done and try to keep the Miami offense off the field. So we're about ready to go. The Oklahoma Sooners rank number 2 in the nation against the Hurricanes of Miami. It is the third meeting between these two teams. Barry Switzer and his staff will get to find out about their defense early on because Miami is going to receive the ball with J.C. Penney. That's right. Montgomery Ward will be here later. J.C. Penney deep to receive it, number 21. Todd Thompson will kick it off. He is flanked by Warren Williams, number 24, who is one of the real speedsters on this Miami club. So it's the big question early on as to whether or not Oklahoma's defense can pressure Miami. And here's the kickoff, and that's knocked out of the county. There will be no return of that one. And the Miami offense comes out with Vinny Testaverde, a New Yorker, big fella in there at quarterback. He's a good one, but he's been dinged with 13 interceptions. Warren Williams, very quick running back. Alonzo Highsmith is a power man, a 230-pounder. Brian Blades is a speedster at split end, and the flanker is Michael Irvin. He's a 6'2", 200-pounder, and he runs about a 4'4". So they've got blazing speed at the corners. The question is whether or not Testaverde will decide to go early with the pass or whether or not he will decide to probe around with a running game. He's got both tools honed and ready, and here's your first snap, and he's going to throw on first down. Dumps it off, and the pass is dropped. Just flat dropped by Willie Smith. Willie Smith is called by his coaches one of the outstanding tight ends they've ever seen, but he just flat dropped that one. Paul Berticelli is a 255-pound tackle. Dave Alekna is a 240-pound guard. Greg Riccozzi at center, 265. Paul O'Connor at guard, 265. And Ed Davis at tackle, 260 pounds. And it's a relatively young football team on both sides of the ball for Miami and, for that matter, for Oklahoma. Both relatively young teams. On second down and 10, they go to the run and bounce Highsmith outside. He gets it up across the 25 to the 27. Oklahoma sends out on their defensive unit these people. And the 4 rush men, the down men up front, in a sense, are Darrell Reed, Richard Reed, Curtis Williams, and Steve Bryan. Casillas is not there because he's hurt and probably going to be out a month. Kevin Murphy is an All-American at defensive end. The backers you saw, and there is the secondary for Oklahoma, and they're playing up very, very tight now on third down and 3. Testaverde wants to throw, gets it deep downfield. He's got a man, but the pass is just a little bit too long to Brian Blades. Blades had pulled away from the defender on it, but the ball was just a little too long.
Blades is a world-class sprinter, outstanding speed, and you can see that number 14, White, just gets fooled on the play completely, and Blades goes right by him. The pass is a little bit overthrown, or it would have been a touchdown.
Into punt now. Feagles for Miami, averaging about 37.5 yards per kick. Derek Shepard is the return man for Oklahoma. Shepard averaging just under 10 yards per return. The kick is in the air, and it's a good one. Good hang time forces Shepard into a fair catch around the 30-yard line of Oklahoma. And the Sooners send out Troy Aikman. Aikman's pretty good size, 6'3", 215 at quarterback. Leon Perry at left half. Perry is a 220-pound freshman. Patrick Collins is a 185-pound sophomore. And the fullback is Lydell Carr, a 215-pound sophomore. So they're young in the backfield. Wide receiver is Derek Shepard, 185 pounds, 5'11". So here comes the Oklahoma wishbone from the 30. Aikman hands the ball off to Perry, and nothing fancy about it. He just popped it and picked up 3. Tight end is Keith Jackson, the big sophomore out of Little Rock, 240. Mark Hudson, tackle at 280. Eric Pope at guard, 265. Travis Simpson at center, 265. The right guard is Anthony Phillips, 275, redshirt freshman. Greg Johnson is 305. Like some of the Arkansas players, they have to take him down to the cotton mill to weigh him. Second down and 7. The ball is handed off inside. The gain is up to the 28 by Lydell Carr, the fullback, brought down by Jerome Brown. Brown is a 265-pound tackle on the front, along with Dan Stubbs, Derwin Jones, and John McVeigh. The backers are Fleming, George Myra Jr. Yep, that's George's son, Winston Moss. And the secondary of Ellis Fullington, a surprise starter today. Selman Brown and Denny Blades, the brother of Bernie. Damon Stell is into the lineup now for Oklahoma. He's number 27. Ball is handed to the up man for the first down. Lydell Carr, the first man out of that wishbone, and Carr with good leg drive pounds it in there before Jerome Brown can bring him down.
Interestingly, on Miami's possession, they had 3rd and short. They went to the pass. Oklahoma, first possession, 3rd and short. They go for the run and make it. Miami did not, obviously. As we look at Barry Switzer, winningest coach in college football that's been coaching over 10 years.
It's first down, Sooners, just over their own 31. First man is Carr. He gets the ball. And George Myra, the middle linebacker, gets him at about the 46.
Myra, number 45, plays the middle linebacker position. He patrols that middle like a cop. He's to go right with that fullback. But the center, Simpson, gets a little bit of his leg and slows him down. And by the time he gets over and grabs Carr, number 45, down, Carr's legs are moving and he falls forward for a nice gain.
A pickup of about 6 yards on the carry. Second down and 4. And they stay inside with Carr. And he's close to midfield at the 49.
Troy Aikman, the Oklahoma quarterback, is not a true wishbone quarterback as we would like to imagine, accustomed to. So Oklahoma runs the wishbone formation, but a lot of other plays, Keith, they mostly run plays out of that alignment, seldom the triple option.
Well, here's the reason why they succeed with it. Carr on 4 carries has picked up 5 yards, 4, 5, and 4.
Just the style of a wishbone offense.
Third down and 2 for the Sooners. Still going with Carr. This time Miami's reaction to him is quicker. And they stop him after maybe a half yard with Derwin Jones and Jerome Brown. The 2 big guys in the center of the defensive front pinched him. And they still need close to 2 yards on 4th down, and out comes the punter.
Here are the defensive stats of Oklahoma, and just look how impressive they have been. Number 1 against rushing, number 2 against passing, number 1 against total defense, and number 2 against scoring. Just outstanding.
Mike Winchester in to punt for the Sooners, a junior out of Marietta, Oklahoma, and you see his average. It's a good one. Kintai, Dave Kintai waits underneath the high-hanging punt back at the 12-yard line. He'll try it. And probably could have let it go because it was a tail dracker and might well have made it into the end zone. 38-yard punt. From the 9-yard line, if Kintai had fair caught the ball, he'd be up at the 12. If he'd left it alone, it might have been in the end zone. But they go from the 9. Testaverde has Williams and Highsmith behind him. And they get tangled up in the backfield, but Williams, with his quick feet, makes something out of it anyway. Picks up about 5 yards as he comes out to the 14.
Oklahoma so far, Keith, has stayed in their basic defense like we expected, seeing if they can stop Miami with a minimum rush, make him throw the ball hurriedly, giving their defense a chance to protect against those seams that the receivers work into for the reception.
He really didn't get 5. He got about 4.5. So call it second down and 6, just short of the 14. And they send Mike Irvin, the flanker, wide to the bottom of the picture. And Testaverde is back to throw and has good protection. Throws underneath to the 20-yard line to Warren Williams, the back swinging out of the backfield. And he's got a first down. Penn State having a ball game with Syracuse under the dome today. And Syracuse getting a touchdown. Penn State countering with a field goal. And Nebraska has had all it could handle against Missouri today, but looks like they'll handle it all right. And Ohio State now pulling away from Purdue. Notre Dame beats Army 24-10. First down, just over the 20 for Miami. No score first quarter from Newman, Oklahoma. That's Warren Williams to the 23. Kevin Murphy, a senior from Plano, Texas, whacked him.
Kevin Murphy, number 39, was injured last year, did not get to play him, but the first game this year, he's come back strong from a foot injury. All Big 8 conference as a sophomore, all Big 8 conference as a junior, back for his fifth year, and is outstanding on that play.
He was an All-American in 1983, and some of the teams, too. So he's quite a player. Second down and call it 7, and Testaverde back to throw. He had Smith down the middle, and Smith is knocked down by an Oklahoma defender. Testaverde finally dumps it. Ball is caught by Williams. And he's got a first down up around the 44-yard line.
Keith, one thing that Jimmy Johnson told me, that Testaverde can move around. He's mobile, faster than the quarterbacks of the past at Miami. This time, the receivers are covered, although Keith, at least he didn't see Smith. Keith called it right. Smith was open, but watch the mobility of Testaverde. Gets away. Now he throws the ball to Williams, number 24, and watch out. These Miami backs can fly with that football once they catch that pass.
So it's first down at the 44 for the Hurricanes. And they're off the hook, and Testaverde now with some daylight goes big with it. Down the sidelines for Irvin. He's got the ball. He's on his way. Touchdown, Miami. He burned Derek White, the cornerback. 56-yard touchdown pass. Testaverde to Michael Irvin from Fort Lauderdale.
Michael Irvin just stayed wide, Chief, and Testaverde dropped the ball in. Watch the arch of this football. He knows he's got to lay the ball over the cornerback and drop it in front of inside the safety man. The safety man was nowhere there. It was really his responsibility. Michael Irvin, freshman, 6'2", 195 pounds with blazing speed.
And in comes Greg Cox, who has never missed an extra point in his college career. He's hit 61 in a row. Make it 62.
Keith, let's watch Michael Irvin run that pass route again, and how he got open in the seam. 14 White right there is to release him to the safety man. Now, where is the safety man? Where is the safety man? Nowhere to be found. Result in a touchdown. Raymond 35 was late getting there.
8:44 to go, first quarter. A 7-0 lead for the big play Miami Hurricanes as they hook up Testaverde to Irvin, 56 yards on the touchdown play. And next week, we will have either Penn State, West Virginia, or Nebraska, Colorado for you. And we invite you to check your local listings in your region for the game in your area. A couple of old long-running rivalries there. Patrick Collins, number 33, and Eric Mitchell, number 1, are the deep people for Oklahoma. And Mark Selig now will kick off for the Hurricanes, who lead 7-0. It is going to Mitchell at the 5. And he gets belted at the 21, and a penalty flag is thrown. While we're waiting for the penalty, here's Barry Switzer on his quarterback position.
The one area of concern is we're so young at quarterback. The inexperience at quarterback hurts us. At least we had Danny Bradley last year, an experienced quarterback. But Troy Aikman is the best passing quarterback we've ever had, and we're going to utilize his talents.
And the penalty is called against the Oklahoma Sooners out around the 21-yard line. The officials today are Big 8 officials, and it's a veteran crew. John McClintock is the referee. There's Andy Presgrove, Dale Shoryers, Joe Pipkin, John Schroeder, Virgil Deering, and Bobby Bernard.
Holding on the run back. It'll be first down.
And so the Sooners now will have to start deep in their own territory at the 11-yard line. And out of the wishbone, a lot of things can happen. They can break the big play, they can grind it out, or they can drop it. Little fake to the fullback, give it to Collins. And Collins is out around the 15 before he is brought down. A pickup of 3 yards. Now let's pick up with Jim Lampley.
Here, Keith, was the scene moments ago in Legion Field. Last play of the game, Alabama versus Tennessee. Tennessee leading 16-14. Van Tiffen from 61 yards out, just short. Tennessee, Johnny Majors has beaten Ray Perkins 3 times by a combined margin of 5 points. They win it today, 16-14. Yours, Keith.
Tennessee wins 1. How about Tony Robinson? We'll check with Jim on that a little while later. But right now, here comes Leon Perry to the outside. And he picks up a first down for Oklahoma up across the 25 at the 26-yard line. There's the value of the football player, the running back with vision. He banged into the hole. There was nothing there. He bounced it outside and found something.
Keith, another thing is Perry weighs 220 pounds. He's just a freshman from Orlando, Florida. Going to play some at fullback probably today along with his halfback role. But you see just how valuable it is to have someone big and strong and be able to see where he's going.
From the 26, Sooners first down. 1 man wide, top of the picture. That would be Derek Shepard. Aikman turns and goes down the line with it. Pitches it late to Collins, gets a block on the corner, turns the corner, and picks up about 6-7 yards. Boy, that was a good block thrown over there. It looked like it was Perry who threw the block.
You're right. The lead back on the wishbone has to be able to block the quarterback. Now, the Miami defensive backs have been taking on receivers. Now they're taking on a 225-pound blocker, number 2, top of your screen, right there. The defensive back waits and catches him, and there's no chance for him to make the play.
Collins is averaging over 9 yards per carry on the season. He's explosive, had a big run against Texas. Last week, Aikman back to throw on first down, goes for the bundle, and it is caught by Keith Jackson. And Jackson is out of bounds inside the 20 at the 16-yard line.
Keith, did you see a little bit of shove just before the jump? It looked like there was pushing going on. And the receiver, Jackson, came up and caught the ball. Big play. It's a throwback pattern, something that the Oklahoma coaches said that Miami may be vulnerable to. Make one way, throw it back. But right here, Jackson is 6'3". He goes up and catches the ball beautifully. Outstanding basketball player, 50-yard gain on the reception.
He may be in hunting for Steve Zabel's record before he is done for catching passes at a tight end position. This goes to Collins, hole over the left side. Picks up 3 as he is brought down. Number 98, Jerome Brown, came firing in, but there was just enough contact on the block to sort of nudge him out of the way. Otherwise, he'd have had him behind the line of scrimmage. Those are the people hurt for the Oklahoma Sooners.
The Miami defensive backs are getting a lesson in taking on blocks and having to come up and make tackles at the line of scrimmage. They'll improve on this as the game goes along.
2nd down and 7 from the Miami 14. Pass to the corner. Good. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Shepard, the last of the Shepard brothers, makes the catch from Aikman.
Take the wishbone, the triple option. Now you've isolated the defensive back on 1-on-1 on the wide receiver. No contest. Ellis could not cover him. Shepard has too many quick moves.
Tim Lasher in for the extra point try. Sonny Brown puts it down. Tim kicks it. Good. Oh, at 6 minutes and 34 seconds to go in the first quarter, Oklahoma answers as they, too, produce the big play.
Fake of the fullback, fake of the option, draws the strong safety up, isolates the halfback. The quarterback lays it right out there perfectly to Shepard on the goal line. He steps over, and with 6:34 left, we'll be back.
Receive it is J.C. Penney from Youngstown, Ohio. They're not going to run that one back either. So Thompson has kicked the ball beyond the end zone on both occasions.
Here's Shepard, number 3, 1-on-1, right on the goal line. Baying the defense, Ellis, the defensive back, trying to cover him. Watch Shepard set up the defensive back. he squares that cut off and separates himself from the defensive back. The ball is right there. Use your weapon. Bear switches on this drive. 2 big passes. Aikman's known for a better passer than he is runner. Build your offense around the strength of your quarterback.
And he can burn it.
He rifled the ball on that last pass.
Testaverde and company now from the 21st down. Ball is given away to Highsmith. Alonzo Highsmith will have 1 yard. That's all. ABC's presentation of NFL Monday Night Football at 9 Eastern Time, the Green Bay Packers and the undefeated Chicago Bears.
Boy, Mike Ditka's got those Bears going, hasn't he, Keith? Say they've got the best offensive line and defensive line maybe in professional football.
Mike will have a driver going home from the airport next time. 2nd down and 9. It's Alonzo Highsmith to the outside. Big man puts his shoulder down and bangs into the Derek White, the cornerback. Picks up about 7. Here's Jim.
2 scores in the top 10. Nebraska has beaten Missouri 28-20. Dale Klein 7 field goals, tied an NCAA record. Ohio State final at 41-27 over Purdue. Byers with his first 2 touchdowns of the season, and they provided the difference. Purdue turned it over 5 times to none for the Buckeyes, and that was key to the outcome of the game. Keith?
Already from the 28-yard line, it is 3rd down and 2 now for Miami. Highsmith sweeping. Sonny Brown, strong safety out of Alice, Texas, makes the play for the Sooners.
When your own offense runs the football, you know how to play defense against the run. Sonny Brown was a strong safety, as Keith mentioned. When the play first started, the defensive lineman forced it outside right into him, and he was Johnny on the spot and made the play.
And the 75th time the OU defense has stopped people for no gain or a loss. That's about half of the plays run against the Oklahoma defense this year.
And Keith, one other big point, it's the 25th time they forced the team in the tango offense. 1, 2, 3, kick.
And the punt is away. Jeff Beagle's kick is caught at the 44 by Sonny Brown. Only a 31-yard punt that time by Beagles. And the Sooners get the ball back and get good field position out of it. 1st down just beyond their own 44. That's a struggle at Morgantown between BC, and some of you will be seeing West Virginia next week against Penn State. Looks like Clemson finally getting the offense organized, and Pittsburgh defeating Rutgers 38-10. Looks like the Panthers may be getting things organized. And there's the story of the Alabama-Tennessee game that Jim Lampley gave you a few minutes ago.
Reverse Keith.
Goes to Collins. 2 men in front of it.
But there's a flag down, Keith.
Big play for Oklahoma, but there's a flag waiting back up at the line of scrimmage.
Oklahoma feels very strongly that Miami is such a pursuing team, chasing the ball carrier immediately, that they had planned to throw back and run reverses in this ball game. They broke the backfield, lined up in a flanker, and out they came with it, but to no avail as a penalty.
Holding.
That's 10 yards.
4 minutes and 30 seconds to go first quarter.
There's Switz is saying, who in the did that? Bleep did that. Don't blame him. He's getting right there. You get out there and tell him. He's on that referee right now. How in the world could we be holding on a reverse play? Oh, he's made.
Still 1st down.
That touchdown in the first quarter by Oklahoma, incidentally, was the first time they've scored in the first quarter this season.
They've been playing very close to the vest, leaning.
First touchdown, anyway.
Yeah, Keith, they've been leaning on their defense since the defense is #1 ranked in the nation.
They back up now on 1st down and 20 to their inside the 35 as Aikman drops to throw and shoots it down the middle where Keith Jackson, the tight end, is wide open. And he's got a 1st down. No, he doesn't either. He's short of the 1st down by 2 yards.
This is the auxiliary offense that Oklahoma has put in to take advantage of their quarterback, who is 6'3". Aikman sets up like an old pro team and rifles that ball to Jackson. What a target he is right over the middle. Somewhere the linebackers of Miami got lost. No one around, and the pass goes for a big gain.
2nd down and 2 from the Miami 47. Aikman still got it and turns upfield for the 1st down. Gets a block out in front of him, and he's hit the chalk. He's out of bounds at the 21. He's out of bounds at the 21.
Keith, the one good thing that Oklahoma has done they have gotten away from the stereotype offense. After handing off to Lydell Carr, look at the crowd. 3 people waiting right there to tackle Carr. Not enough people left to take on Aikman, the quarterback. Good blocking downfield by the wide receiver, number 3, Shepard. And Aikman shows some running ability there, more than people had said that he had. 26-yard gain.
And first down at the 21.
Keith, this right now appears to me it's going to be the best offensive struggle we've seen all year long.
How's that look? A little late developing on the play. Perry trying to cut it back inside. Got tangled up a bit. Number 68, Anthony Phillips, the guard, had stepped back as the protector on the little delay. And he winds up getting about 3 yards. And Syracuse has moved back in front of Penn State now. I guess that's the first time they've had the lead in the game, but they have assumed the lead late in the ball game. Syracuse tough to handle under the dome. They usually beat somebody when they're not expected to. They did it to Nebraska last year. Second down and 7 for Oklahoma. The ball is inside the Miami 19. Aikman down the line with it. Pitches back to Perry. Perry's got a crowd. But he's, as Frank said, big and strong, and he makes something out of it as he gets to the Miami 15.
Boy, Shepard again. Here's the total offensive yardage so far today. Run 22-83, what we expected. Look at the balance. That's the shock. That's what's significant so far. Oklahoma passing for as much as they're running.
Georgia now starting to come back against Vanderbilt. Vandy had the lead at one time, 10-0 in that ball game. And Minnesota winning again today. Third down and 4.5. Boy, that won't work. The Miami people were all over Damon Stell as Aikman was off the snap, dropping back as if to throw the ball, and slipped it off to Stell, and bingo.
Well, the wishbone teams are not most effective on a fake pass and run. But on this occasion, defense. Jerome Brown, number 98, the sack man for the Miami Hurricanes, was back there.
And in comes the field goal try now. 36 yards. Tim Lasher. 1 out of 1 between 30 and 40. Blocked. Ball slammed back, rolling way back upfield where Miami covers it. Blocked by Jerome Brown. He did it, and number 58 came pounding downfield. Bruce Fleming to cover it for Miami.
Jerome Brown comes right up the middle, Keith. No one touched him. There he is, and he goes a tremendous leap, gets his hands up in front of it, and blocks it solidly, and there Miami has another chance.
First down on the Oklahoma 45. That block punt by Jerome Brown resulted in a 35-yard pickup for Miami as the ball comes back near the Oklahoma 45, where the Hurricanes have it first down, and Highsmith can't get loose inside. He started to cut it back against the grain, but waiting for him was number 93 for Oklahoma, Curtis Williams, who's playing a nose guard in place of the injured Tony Casillas. And many people think Tony Casillas is the best, one of the best football players in the country, and he is hurt. Now, number 42 just left the lineup. Paul Migliazzi was helped off the field, so he's out of there, and Dante Jones comes in to replace him, and you don't lose a lot with Dante Jones in there. Back goes Testaverde to throw. Has some time, has some open field, gets it away. Pass is good to Irvin, who has a touchdown already, and he's still working at it. And finally down around the 26, 25-yard line.
If you're going to throw the football, you've got to have effectively a quarterback that can scramble. Irwin goes down, and when Testaverde scrambles, Irvin starts working to the middle, and is wide open. Now the excitement begins. He's hard to get down, difficult to get down. Number 7, Glenn could not hold him, but the key was Testaverde's scramble, concentrating downfield, and finding the open receiver.
The ball is marked just inside the 26 of Oklahoma. First down for the Hurricanes. A 7-7 ball game with 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. Mel Bratton is in for the first time today. Testaverde rolls it out, drops one off inside to Highsmith. And Highsmith, running hard after making the catch, is knocked out of bounds around the 13. Again, Jim.
All right, Keith, you have told the viewers that Syracuse leads 20-17. Here are the particulars. They got a touchdown pass from McPherson to Mike Ciano, 45 yards with 7 minutes left. It is now close to 5 minutes left in the game. Penn State, with only 92 yards offense in the first half, is having serious difficulty moving the football in the Carrier Dome and is in trouble. Back to you.
Testaverde now has hit 5 in a row, and it's first down Miami at the Oklahoma 13. Ball is handed off to Breton. Mel Breton, big barrel-chested, tough runner, is inside the 10 and dropped around the 8-yard line. And the first quarter is over. So after the first 15 minutes, we've got what we thought we would have, a good one. 7-7 tie. Jim up with that third tight end in a blocking back position, but go the other way with Breton, and he won't get his first down. He's going to be a step short of it. Sonny Brown came over and knocked him out of bounds. They set up strong side right, but went to the weak side. And the Oklahoma defensive people, as has been pointed out, run to the ball.
Keith, it's very short yardage. I would go for it. Miami has big running backs. We've seen Highsmith and Mitchell run over some of the best defensive football players in America from Oklahoma. As we look at Jimmy Johnson, he's going to do the unexpected most of the time. He's great at it. As we said earlier, as a player, he dared to do the unexpected. That shorter yardage, I think he wants the 7 points. And with Highsmith at 228, Bratton at 215, he's got a chance to make it. But against the #1 defense, Nebraska last year tried right here, might have won the national championship for it and failed against this defense.
They go to, oh, they keep it. The quarterback, Testaverde, touchdown. Quarterback bootleg.
Surprised by Jimmy Johnson. He played that way, and he coaches that way. He likes to be unpredictable. Who would have thought that Testaverde would keep the ball on 4th down and 3 inches? Oklahoma didn't, because they chased the back all the way to the right of our screen. Look how wide open the quarterback is. Number 7, Liddell Green, could not make the play, and it's a touchdown. And the stands are a little bit quiet right now, Keith.
They really did get quiet quickly, didn't they? Greg Cox for the extra point, and he's got 63 in a row at 14-16 to go in the first half. The Miami Hurricanes have come back to reassume the lead, 14-7 over the Sooners. By Oklahoma, recover the ball just short of the Sooner 45 and stick it in the end zone as Testaverde bootlegged it out and scored. Now it'll be Mark Seeley kicking off for the Canes, and it is Patrick Collins and Don Maloney, the deep people for Oklahoma. We'll see if the Sooners can answer.
Keith, the Sooners came right back last time, 80 yards.
Seelig hits it. Winds going left to right, and that one carries beyond the field of play. Jimmy Johnson talked with him yesterday and asked him just how good he thought this Miami team might be.
Well, I feel like we've got a good football team. They're a very young team with only 2 seniors starting, but I really believe that we're going to have us a heck of a ball game. We've got good balance offensively, and I think it's going to give them problems.
Well, he showed up yesterday wearing his funeral suit. He was all decked out, looked like a banker.
Oh, and that red tie and the pinstripe blue suit. Jimmy likes to dress. Boy, his team looks good, too. In fact, both teams look good, Keith.
Don Maloney is in there at the halfback spot with Collins and Carr, the fullback, with Aikman, the quarterback. Aikman keeping it, going down the line with it, pitches it outside wide to Maloney, and he's taken out of there pretty quickly and pretty efficiently by number 19, Darrell Fullington, out of New Smyrna Beach, Florida.
Fullerton had been blocked, Keith, by the lead halfback and got up off of the ground and made the play.
Colorado State jumps out to a lead over Air Force, and Illinois beat Michigan State in the Big Ten today. That is the 6th different ball carrier for Oklahoma so far in the ball game today. Now they break the ball, go double wide. Aikman back to throw it. Jackson's underneath, and he has the ball, and he has a first down up at the 34. So Keith Jackson with his 3rd catch of the ball game. Again, Jim.
More from the Carrier Dome, a fumble recovery by Graham, a 42-yard drive, a touchdown pass from Schaefer to Steve Smith. Penn State leads 24-20, a minute, 53 seconds to go, and we'll let you know as soon as that score is final. And incidentally, Keith, congratulations from Bino and Doug and me on your 39th birthday yesterday.
Thank you, Jimmy.
38, Keith. They won too many.
I tried to slip through that day without acknowledging it.
Well, Keith, on the last play, Aikman faked the ball, got outside without any rush, and Jackson came across and found the open area for the key yardage and the first down.
Well, now he's become the big play man. He's made 3 catches, and he totals 81 yards on those 3 catches.
When you fake to the fullback and you draw those linebackers up, the tight end can get open.
And the Sooners have a first down near the 34 of Miami. Aikman straight back this time, just dumps this one to Maloney. And Maloney, running hard with some blocking help, spins close to a first down.
Oklahoma's strategy in this ball game was to throw the ball outside to their halfbacks if the linebackers drop back and cover the end. By doing so, they treat it like a run, Keith. Don't have to pitch the ball. They just say it's a run. We toss it out to Maloney, number 23. He twists and turns and falls for a nice gain.
He's a 185-pound redshirt freshman out of Chickasaw, Oklahoma.
This Oklahoma offense in the backfield has all freshmen and sophomores. That's all that they have right now with Tillman. Spencer Tillman, their great runner, injured, cannot play. Johnson, another outstanding runner, cannot play. As we look at some of the yardage numbers right here.
Aikman is 5 out of 5 for 105 yards.
When Keith, how long it's been since Oklahoma passed for more than they've run? Many years.
A long time, yeah. That ball is given to Lydell Carr, the fullback, and he's got 7 yards on that carry.
Now they've got Miami off balance with the mixing up, being unpredictable on offense. Running up the middle, running wide, screening, throwing the ball on misdirection. They've done it all. Oklahoma has done it all in this ball game.
The ball is just over midfield for the Sooners. Maloney's out now, and Damon Stell comes back in. Stell is 27. Carr for the first down. Ball comes bouncing loose, and Oklahoma recovers it. I thought they might have called him down, but didn't. That ball was bounding around, and Keith Jackson dove on it and recovered it.
Well, Stubbs was supposed to tackle the fullback, the middle of your screen. Number 96 is supposed to tackle the fullback. There's nowhere there. Look at the hole, the left side of the line. Hudson and Polk just wiped it off. The defensive end was supposed to tackle the fullback, and he didn't get there.
Number 36 was the man that came over, and Benny Blades, and knocked that ball out. Now look at that thing bouncing around, and suddenly Jackson spotted it and covered it. And it's first down for the Sooners at the Miami 44.
Miami's changed their defense. They've got everybody up on the line now.
And Aikman pitches wide. It goes to Stafford, Anthony Stafford, in the lineup for the first time. Another freshman from St. Louis, 165-pound speedster. And he picks up about 2 yards on the play. Danny Jackson and John Tudor will have at it tonight in the opening game of the 82nd World Series. And you'll see it here on ABC starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
Keith, did Brett have a great championship series with the Royals? Oh, what a great play.
He's a great player.
Oklahoma's an unbalanced line, Keith, going to get a little extra blocking.
Second down and 7. He picked up 3. Aikman going down the line with it.
Big old Brown. Looked like, or was it Stubbs?
Jerome Brown.
Jerome Brown, number 98. From the left of your screen. Wasn't touched. He comes right through. Number 98, and just grabs Aikman. Aikman doesn't have a chance.
I'm not sure that Jerome knew that Troy had the ball. I wasn't sure either. Well, but he took him anyway.
When the quarterback goes away from you, the fake of the fullback, he sinks that ball in that fullback's pocket, and you can't find it.
Aikman to throw. Has a man wide open. Shepard. And Derek Shepard, who scored Oklahoma's touchdown, picks up a first down for them at the Miami 17. Ellison Blades brought him down.
The fake of the running play, Miami defensive backs get lost. Watch how wide open. There's no use for Shepard to do all that faking. There's nobody to fake to, Keith. Look at there. There's still no one in the picture. Finally, someone gets there to make the tackle. He was going through those fakes and there wasn't anybody there. Miami somehow had a breakdown on their coverage.
Well, it's two outstanding defenses that are getting ripped apart here in this first half. Aikman turns to the crossing back this time. It's Don Maloney again, 23. And Maloney doesn't get much out of that one.
Miami has been playing against the pass in practice because they work against each other. But here's Aikman, 6 for 6, 131 yards. Now, the interesting thing, Keith, Aikman was being redshirted last year until Bradley, their quarterback, was hurt. He had to come over to the offense and play against Kansas. Oklahoma got beat, and the fans got down on him. He's making up for it right now today.
Second down and 10. Stell is back in. Maloney out. Aikman to throw. To the corner. It is knocked away on a fine defensive play by Don Ellis, the left cornerback in front of Derek Shepard.
Shepard, quick, doesn't have that breakaway speed. He's the third Shepard to play for Oklahoma. He's going in and back out. Now Ellis, number 29, makes a great play. He realizes he's got a chance to go in front. He gets that big left paw out in front and deflects the ball, which would have been a touchdown.
I mean, that pass had some burn on it, too. Aikman really zips that thing.
Well, Ellis made a great, outstanding break on the ball, Keith, to gain that much ground and come in front of the receiver, Shepard.
Third down and 10. Aikman to throw again, and Jerome Brown's after him, and he's got it.
He's a stud, that Brown, number 98, is 275.
He ran him right into John McVeigh and got a piece of it, and Aikman is not up yet. He got pinched between 230-pound John McVeigh and 265-pound Jerome Brown.
That's no fun. But for some reason, Brown, number 98, goes between the center and the left guard, comes clean, breaks right through, penetration, one thing that Jimmy Johnson loves to teach. He puts his defensive men on the shoulders where they can penetrate the gaps and cause the bad play, and they do. We'll be right back with 9:18 to play. When Oklahoma comes back with the ball, they'll go with a freshman from California.
Jameel Holloway.
Jameel Holloway, Chief. Outstanding in high school, was a wishbone quarterback in high school.
Todd Thompson now has come in to try the field goal from the 46-yard line. It's a little outside of Tim Lasher's range, but Thompson has plenty of leg, and he missed it. He hooked the ball and couldn't draw it back into the uprights. And at 9:01 to go in the first half, Troy Aikman, they're looking at his ankle or knee. It's an ankle. It's the left ankle. So he got trapped.
All right, Jim Lampley again in New York. It is final in the Carrier Dome. Penn State now having won 6 straight games by a combined margin of 24 points on the season as they beat Syracuse 24-20. Also at Chestnut Hill, West Virginia beat Boston College for the 6th straight time. Next week in the Nittany Mountains, West Virginia will visit Penn State, and we will cover that game regionally here on ABC Sports. Back to Keith Jackson.
It's always been a pretty good ruckus, too, when those two get together.
Don Nealon has done a good job in West Virginia.
Miami takes over the ball at the 29, first down, and Testaverde on a deep drop goes to the sidelines. The pass is caught by Willie Smith, but he doesn't get a whole lot out of it. About 2 yards.
Tony Rabin, number 35, was all over him.
Now let's check in with Tim Brandt.
Keith, you were right about it being his left leg. It is his ankle. They are looking at it now. The orthopedic surgeons have looked at it. They are going to try to get some weight on it and see if, in fact, how serious the injury is. You can see Troy was in a lot of pain. He got it twisted underneath there, and then a tackler came down on top of it. But right now it is his left ankle. They don't realize how serious it is yet.
Second down and 8, zipped upfield, complete to Smith. Smith's got a first down for Miami at the 41-yard line. He drilled that between 2 defenders.
He threw it before the defensive linebackers could react. Smith, interesting story about Smith. Last year he caught 66 passes, Miami seasonal record. This year he has 14 receptions. Why the decline? They're double covering him, Keith. They're watching him, jamming him at the line of scrimmage. Opponents.
Out of the I formation this time. And the ball goes to Mel Bratton. Big back. crosses midfield and goes to the Oklahoma 49. He picked up at least 9 yards before Liddell Glenn could bring him down.
This Miami football team is moving the ball effectively against the #1 defense in the country. Last year, as we look at Troy Aikman, Keith, I believe they're going to take into the dressing room and either x-ray it, put ice on it, and try to stop the swelling. He is hurt.
That means we will see Holloway on the next offensive series, the freshman. And they say he is
fast.
An old Oklahoma expression, quick as a hiccup. On second and short, long pass downfield, Testaverde to Willie Smith, and the Miami Hurricanes are cooking at the Oklahoma 30.
How about the surprise, Keith? 2nd down and 1. Go to your good target. The coaches tell me if you just throw it close to this man, if you just throw it close, he will catch it. But he's wide open here, does it? And to drill the ball right there, Testaverde has been outstanding throwing the pass today. 2 great tight ends in this ball game, Willie Smith and also Jackson.
First down Miami at the Oklahoma 30 with 7 minutes and 22 seconds to play in the second quarter. Testaverde is 8 out of 10, 146 yards. He's hit 8 in a row, pitches the ball back to Bratton, and Oklahoma's defense flows with him this time and handles him pretty well. He's just inside the 30-yard line, but he laid a heck of a stiff arm on somebody down there.
Look what the Miami
Tony
Hurricanes
Rayburn, yeah,
have done so far today against this defense. #1 ranked in the country, 56 yards, the longest play, the longest drive, 91 yards, the most points, 14, the most passing yards, 146. Tribute to this Miami football team that mixes up the running and passing most effectively.
2nd down and 9, ball inside the 30. Testaverde dumps it in a hurry to Bratton. Bratton is gang tackled at the 23.
This time Oklahoma put the blitz on. As Miami begins to threaten, they put the blitz and a slight adjustment by the quarterback and the receiver, recognizing the blitz, a little quick pass out to the completion.
They do look like they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing in both the run and the pass, Keith. Very, very impressive.
3 wides now, leaving Bratton alone. And on 3rd and 3, Testaverde has a lot of protection. He elects to go to the end zone and overthrows the real estate. He throws past the boundary intended for Smith, and it'll bring up 4th down and 3.
Smith was double teamed. He was jammed at the line of scrimmage, jammed by the linebacker, and he couldn't get out. Here's some scores from today and some of the teams that we're going to have next week, Keith.
Boston College and losing to West Virginia, and Penn State coming late to pull it out against Syracuse. 40-yard field goal try now by Greg Cox.
Cox will be kicking with the wind.
He's 2 out of 2 from this distance. Almost blocked, but he gets it away, and he missed it to the left. Rayburn flashed across there and almost blocked that kick, but it missed anyway, and it remains 14-7 Miami.
When the Pennzoil people came to me and
on that possession, that's the longest period of time they have held the ball so far in the game, but they came away empty with it. Oklahoma takes over, 1st down from their own 23, and here's Holloway in the ball game. Jamil Holloway throwing to Shepard. And it's a 1st down for Oklahoma at the 42-yard line. So there's a bit of a surprise as the freshman comes in, making his first appearance in this ball game, and goes dancing around and into a completion.
Shepard is going to push deep. He sets up the defensive back, breaks it off, separates from the back, comes back to the ball. The amazing thing is, Keith said, this is Shepard's first, this is Holloway's first pass of the season, Keith, and it goes for a big completion.
Came out of Banning High School in Carson, California. 5'11", 175. Played for Chris Ferragamo. And it's 1st down for the Sooners. Holloway turns, gives the ball to the fullback Carr. Carr goes to the 46-yard line.
Here's the freshman Jamil Holloway playing for the first time today. Had a couple of snaps before. Basically going in with a game close, 1st time. What a pressure situation he has, but he came out beautifully and gave him a lot of confidence, Keith, completing the first pass.
2nd down and 7. Pitches the ball well. It goes outside to Stafford. Anthony Stafford goes for a first down. Boy, they got speed on the corners. They always have speed on the corners.
That's the acid test for a young quarterback, the blitzing in. Jimmy Johnson knew that. He blitzed to him, and Holloway got the pitch out beautifully.
And you've got 5 minutes and 41 seconds to play in the first half, with Miami leading Oklahoma 14-7. Arkansas and Texas now 7-3, and it's opening day for the expanded stadium in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And you ought to see this fella sitting next to me fussing. Well, this time the Miami defensive people handle it, don't they? George Myra Jr., number 45, jumps on Carr.
Stop by number 45.
One thing, Jimmy Johnson, who's worked against the wishbones, been on squads that coach the wishbone, knows you have to take the fullback away first. You cannot let the fullback make yardage up the middle and expect to stop any phase of the wishbone.
2nd down and 8 now for Oklahoma. The ball is just short of the Miami 44-yard line. He's checking off. The Bressie young fellow, isn't he? There goes the fullback. And Lydell Carr galloping down to the 36 for a first down.
Keith Lydell was hurt, I believe.
He really got, well, he was high load.
Oh, he's jumping up. He's tough. But he got, as Keith said, the second man up. Notice carefully, after he gets hit by the first man right here, the second man really hit him. Can't see who that is.
Selwyn Brown is 32, and Benny Blades is 36.
Boy, you can see the head when he flies back like that. That hurts.
Carr with 10 carries, 48 yards, and he stays in. First down Sooners, 36 of Miami. No, Carr's out. Anderson is in there at fullback. Give the ball to Patrick Collins. And he is another busy sort of a runner as he moves the ball inside the 30.
Boy, that
what? One penalty flag so far in this ball game.
And I don't believe we've had a turnover, have we? Don't believe it.
Nope.
Beautifully played game, but the defense are doing all they can do. The offensive line of Oklahoma, outstanding. And that takeoff, that first 10 inches is the pivotal area for that offensive line in the wishbone. They control that first 10 inches, the backs are gone.
It's 2nd down and a long 3. And the fullback, Rodney Anderson, carries a 205-pounder out of Dickinson, Texas, and he does not get the first down. They are 1.5 yards short, and they're going to go.
Two different styles of offense, both highly successful. Oklahoma lining up and running the ball, using the option plays.
Using a lot of people, too.
Using a lot of people. That's the 8th rusher that we've had carry the ball for Oklahoma today. Here's the blitz.
They take it inside, and Miami stops Patrick Collins.
They give him all that he could make, Keith, and it's going to be very close, maybe a foot short. I think that a running football team here, Keith, usually will go for it.
Carr's back in.
It's going to be about 2 feet short. Big play for Oklahoma, and a big play for Miami, because if the wishbone teams have a way, Keith, of scoring on short yardage, if they don't stop him at the line of scrimmage, the quarterback of the pitch could walk in for the touchdown. Here's Barry. You can see the little frown on his face.
3 minutes to go in the first half. 14-7 Miami.
2 split ends. That's unusual.
I think that ball came loose and was rolling around, and Miami has stopped the play. Holloway, I think, missed his handoff to Lydell Carr, and as a result, Miami clobbered him, and they hold Oklahoma and take over the football.
Today's
touchdown, he's run for a touchdown. His coach says this of him.
You know, everyone has said all along that he's got great ability. He's got a great arm. He has great speed. But the thing that I like about him, he's a hard worker. He's a team player, and the team really rallied around him, especially last spring. They really have a good feeling for him being our quarterback.
Darrell Oliver is in the backfield now, number 37 for Miami, as Testaverde takes a deep drop to set up a screen pass for Bratton. Spins away from the open field man and gets it up across the 30. Boy, he almost got loose for a big play. Here's Tim Brandt.
All right, Keith, I've just run out of the Oklahoma locker room. I was in there with Dr. David Fisher as he was watching Troy Aikman, the Oklahoma quarterback. The X-ray is back now, and Troy has a fractured fibula in his left, just above his left ankle. So it is a fracture. He is gone, and now it's up to Jameel Holloway, the youngster, as you watched him.
That's a four-week, yeah, that is sad. That's a 4-week injury, Keith. Be hard to get back earlier than 4 weeks.
Second down, call it 7 for Miami after that effort by Bratton. And here comes Oliver. And there's nothing there for him to speak of.
Miami's strategy right now appears to me to be that they're going to use as much of the clock as they can. Do not give Oklahoma a chance to intercept the pass. Now it's 3rd and long, and they'll either run a pass maybe close to the line of scrimmage. They'll take a little chance here. They got the wind to their back, but they ran on 1st and 2nd down.
3rd down and about 7. They are getting in time, and he goes underneath. He picked Oliver because I guess he felt Oliver was the most available man, but he was being double-teamed himself.
I think we can look for Oklahoma try to block this kick. I would think they would put in their blocking team and go after it.
Both teams with 3 timeouts remaining. Jeff Beagle's kicks today have been 42 and 31. He's got a little help from the wind on this one.
Just 10 men out there, Keith.
For Miami?
No, this level. I'm sorry.
Dixon back for the Sooners. Slips down at the 30. Trying to make a cut and come back this way. 42-yard punt, 3-yard return, 1:15 to play in the first half. With the football, first down at their 30. They trail 14-7 to Miami. They have 1 minute and 15 seconds to work with. They have 3 timeouts remaining. Jameel Holloway on in relief of Troy Aikman, who has a broken left ankle. And Holloway dancing around. If he'd have gone left, he'd have had a lot of daylight. Instead, he went back to the right side. And he's going to pick up maybe 4 yards on the play. Here's Tim Brent.
Keith, I have a little bit more information for you on the injury to Troy Aikman. I told you it is that cracked fibula. I just conferred with Dr. Fletcher again, and he says that an injury of this type usually takes about 6 weeks to heal. That's the average. If that's the case, then Troy Aikman could be back for the Nebraska game, which I believe is November 23rd.
Long march from here to there. Second down, call it a 5-yard pickup for Holloway. Rolls back to throw and gets his pass off. He has a man, and it is late getting there, and it is almost intercepted by Benny Blades.
If you called it beautiful, the receiver was wide open. The freshman just not having the time and not enough practice is a little late with the ball. It should have already set up and thrown. Look how wide open he is. You can see how far Blades, 36, comes across, comes close to intercepting the ball, but at least he knocks it down incomplete. Doesn't have control as he goes out of bounds.
The intended receiver was Lee Morris, number 84. He's a sophomore out of Del City, Oklahoma. It is 3rd down and 5 now for the Sooners, and Holloway throw it again. Gets pressure from the backside, gets away from it, passes away, incomplete.
Holloway is still shown a lot of poise in my judgment, Keith, coming into this ball game. Hit his first pass, ran the option play, quarterback stunt on the end, made him pitch the ball quickly. He handled it just to perfection. No question, but he can do the job. It's just a matter of experience. Process is hard to speed up.
Winchester to punt for Oklahoma on 4th down with 31 seconds to go in the half, and Dave Kintai is deep for Miami. Low kick by Winchester. Kintai takes it, splits the defenders, and comes back to the 40-yard line. The Hurricanes have the ball, and we look at the Miami campus.
From Marine Bio.
Leading by 7 points, 14-7. Very likely just going to take it to the clubhouse after this snap.
Both teams been very effective moving the ball. Oklahoma getting stopped, Keith.
Georgia got tied by Vanderbilt. That's a surprise.
Big upset, yes.
And Texas with 2 field goals. A 7-6 ball game. And Air Force has come back to take the lead over Colorado State in Western Athletic Conference play out in the Rockies. Air Force still undefeated.
He Keith, he may just throw the bomb down the field.
He might. Like you say, Jimmy Johnson, whoops, almost had a man jump, but he got back, and he is going to load it up. Now he throws it away, and that could be flagged. But we'll get away with it. Troy Johnson, number 80, big sophomore from Houston, was the man getting there's your flag. They're going to call him for dumping the ball. There was not a Miami man within 40 yards of it.
And that's not exaggeration either. The receivers had all gone deep. Oklahoma had dropped back and covered, but here is what Testaverde has done today. 10 out of 15, 154, 1 TD, no interceptions.
They always wind up with a big old quarterback. They had Jim Kelly, of course, and big and strong. Bernie Kosar, big and strong, and now Testaverde at 6'5", 210 pounds. Ball comes all the way back to the 24-yard line, and he wants to throw it again. And he runs out of the pocket. Now he throws it up the field to Blades, and Bryan can't hang on to it as the ball comes in low to him. And so it'll be third down.
Keith, as you were talking about Testaverde, of course, Miami having big quarterbacks. Kelly was big. He was from Pennsylvania. Testaverde is from New York. So
and Kosar was from Ohio.
And that's right. Kosar was from Cleveland, around Cleveland. But what happens is a team that has a history of throwing the ball and having success, the quarterbacks migrate to that school where they are assured of having a chance to use their talents.
It's third down and about 25, and they run this one, sending Darrell Oliver out into the open, and Oliver runs the ball up to the 35-yard line. The clock is ticking away, and time will run out now, and the first half is history, with the Hurricanes of Miami leading the Sooners of Oklahoma at halftime by a score of 14-7. And Tim Brandt now with Coach Jimmy Johnson, and here they are.
Jimmy, the first question, you have to be pleased, or a statement really, you have to be pleased with your offensive line. They've kept the pressure off Testaverde. That, of course, I think was a question mark coming in with their youth.
Well, I'm pleased with the way the young guys, we don't have a senior starting on offense, and the young guys have really played well this first half, and we expected to move the football. The thing that concerns me is we have worked so hard all week long trying to stop the wishbone, and now they come out throwing the football, and so it really gave us some problems defensively.
With Aikman out of the ball game, he will not return this afternoon. And Holloway, of course, in his first college game, do you put more pressure on him? Do you try to confuse him? How do you handle that?
Well, Holloway's a jitterbug, and besides that, he throws the ball extremely well. And so I don't know that we're going to change much of our game plan defensively. We're still going to stay with what we've been doing because we've been trying to pressure Aikman anyway, so we're going to pressure him.
Jimmy, as many times as you all have put the ball on the ground and turned it over earlier in the year, you've got to be pleased. They've held on nicely.
I think our guys have been really intent. Everybody was concerned that this was such a big ball game, but really, we play so many big ball games. It's about every other week with our schedule, and so, it's no big thing for us to come in here to, Oklahoma Field and play against these guys. We play a lot of big ball games.
Well, Keith said the championship you all played for is the big one. Thank you very much, Jimmy. Good luck in the second half. So, that's our halftime score. Miami leads 14-7.
A lot of predetermined stuff. The kid's doing a good job so far. I'm proud of him, but we're a little short right now.
Barry, I've got to ask you, how do you get more pressure on their quarterback?
Well, it's tough. He scrambles so well. We knew that we're fighting our guts out to try to get to him, but the guy can move around. We knew that he was going to be a problem in that regard. So, 10 out of 16 isn't bad. The first half is even except for one play.
Good luck the second
half. Thank you.
Okay, let's go back upstairs to you, Keith.
All right, thank you. Oklahoma gets the ball for the kickoff, and it's not unusual for this Oklahoma team to come out to start a half when they're trailing like their britches are on fire. They really come out snorting, and I would not be surprised to see them try in this very first possession, really try to stick it in the end zone and get even.
Keith, the first possession, most coaches feel is the most important of the second half.
The kick is in the air. And this will be returned from the goal line by Patrick Collins. And Collins gives them good field position up close to the 25-yard line. Here the people that have to defend now for Miami. McVay's 230 pounds at end. Jones 270 at tackle. Big Jerome Brown, he's a load, 265. And Dan Stubbs, the other end at 240. The linebackers are Winston Moss, 6'3" and 230. George Myra Jr., 6 feet, 225. And Bruce Fleming, 6'2" and 230. And here's the Oklahoma offense coming to the line now with Jameel Holloway in there at quarterback, replacing Troy Aikman out with a broken ankle. Carr, Perry, and Stell open behind him, and this is Stell with the ball and caught well back of the line of scrimmage by Selwyn Brown. David Ellis is the left cornerback, 5'11", 170 for Miami. Darrell Fullington at the other corner, 6'2", 190. Selwyn Brown, who just made that play, 5'11" and 190, and Benny Blade, 6 feet and 205. And the ball is placed back near the 16-yard line. Stell is not having a good day. Damon has got people on him every time he gets his hands on it. He's run twice and he's lost 12 yards. The second down and close to 20 as Holloway sets up the throw, goes deep down the middle for Shepard. He's got it. And a first down at the Miami 39-yard line. And a penalty flag waiting back upfield.
Keith, that was as pretty a throw any freshman has ever passed in his life. He hit Shepard right on the numbers.
Oklahoma is holding.
Oh, that's a tough break. But Holloway showed his confidence. He displayed his ability to hit the deep pass. That will wake the Miami defense up. Even though the play is called back, it gives it a different perspective, a different outlook for the Miami defensive team for this young freshman, Jameel Holiday.
Like that. Yeah. Holloway at quarterback, Perry, Stell, Carr, and Shepard, the wide man. In the offensive alignment for Oklahoma, Jackson, Hudson, Pope, Simpson, Phillips, and Johnson along the front.
Second down.
John McClintock is the referee, a veteran Big 8 crew. And that rain of booze will not worry John at all. Ball is at the 8-yard line, second down. They've got to go near the 35 to get a first down, and that'll be good up to about the 16 as Holloway carried it. He's 5'11", 175, a freshman from Carson, California.
His best attributes is speed, quickness. Keith, he was a wishbone quarterback, an option quarterback in high school. He's had good coaching, coming from an outstanding school.
Guarantee you he's had good coaching.
Well trained.
Oh, Chris coaches him well. Chris Ferragamo. Ball at the 15. They need 20. There goes Holloway again. And he's out to the 30. That'll bring up fourth down and about 5.
2 quarterback draws, safe, get some yardage instead of having to kick the ball from the own 15-yard line. They've got it up with a wind to the back and should put Miami fairly deep into their own territory.
Yeah, Winchester's a good one.
He's averaging over 44 yards this year.
2 today have been into the wind, 38 and 31.
Number 11, David Kintai, is back to receive the punt.
David Kintai, the deep man for the Hurricanes. Winchester got that one. Kintai all the way back to the 20. Penalty flag is thrown back around where the kicker might have been slapped around a little bit. A 51-yard punt. And I think Bubba McDowell may have been the man that came in and nailed the kicker.
Keith, I believe it was running into the kick. The 2 Miami players hit each other and one knocked his teammate into him. It's 5 yards. If it's running into the kicker, you can see the 2 going in. And finally, one teammate knocks his other one into Winchester. He falls over, and it's a 5-yard penalty, but it's enough for the first down.
Just enough, yep. It's just enough. They needed it right at 5 yards, and a 5-yard penalty is going to be given the first down by about a foot.
So those 2 quarterback draws, Holloway ran with a difference and helped them making the first down.
So Winchester had kicked that ball some 56 yards, 51 yards, and had Miami well back around the 20. So he did his job as well, but Oklahoma gets the break, and they get a first down at the 35.
I would expect a lot of stunts to confuse Holloway.
Hands the ball to his fullback Carr, and Lydell Carr picks up a good 5 yards right up the pipe.
One thing that the wishbone quarterback needs a lot of work is the stunts on the corner to come at him one time and one time slow play it, delay it, give him different looks on the corner, hoping he'll make a mistake.
Give Carr 6 yards and make it second down 4. Flip it outside. This is Stafford. And Anthony Stafford will have a first down for Oklahoma at the 49 of Miami.
A great block by the lead halfback, number 33, Collins. The cornerback has no chance. The lead block by the halfback, turned downfield on number 32, Brown. Linebacker, I guess, Blades comes all the way from safety man to make the play.
Stafford has carried 3 times and picked up 22 yards. Damon Snell comes in to replace him. Reversing. Going to throw it. This is Derek Shepard. Passes away. Intercepted. The pass is picked off by Benny Blades, who came from his free safety position and cut in front of Keith Jackson and plucked it.
Jackson was behind the secondary, open for the touchdown, but he got there a little bit too quick. Had he delayed in the middle just a step or two more, then broken to the outside, Blades would have had no chance to get there, but he does. Number 36 makes a great play for the interception and stops the drive.
First turnover of the... And let's see if Willie Smith becomes more available, or if he looks more to Irvin, or if he decides to
keep
run
going.
the ball.
There's a lot more options they've got, Keith.
I'm going to throw it. And he nails Willie Smith up at the 45-yard line in front of Ricky Dixon.
Just a dart. Testaverde threw the ball deep.
Darrell Reed, defensive end, 6'2", 210. Richard Reed, defensive tackle, 6'4", 260. Curtis Williams weighs in at 6'3", 250. Steve Bryant, 6'3", 255. Kevin Murphy, 6'2", 230. The defensive front for Oklahoma. Miliazo, linebacker, 6'1", 220. Brian Bosworth, 6'2", 235. And Bosworth has been quiet today. He had 14 tackles against Texas. Little draw play, this time with Highsmith carrying. And on first down, Highsmith picks up about 3. Derek White, secondary, is cornerman, 5'9", 185. Sonny Brown is the other corner at 6'2", 190. Actually, he plays a strong safety. Tony Rayburn, 6'3", 195. And Ricky Dixon, 5'10", and 180.
Keith, Oklahoma has come in with a nickel back, taking out defensive lineman.
On second down and a long 6. Testaverde back. Again, he's scrambling, and he's got some room, and he's got a first down as he tiptoes out of bounds at the Oklahoma 42.
First time, Keith, that we've seen the blitz by the linebacker. You just mentioned we hadn't called Bosworth, the all-Big 8 linebacker. He times the blitz perfectly, gets knocked down by the lineman, but he gets back up and forces Testaverde out of the pocket. But once again, Testaverde, presence of mind, runs for the first down.
He's pretty quick.
Yes, he is quick. 4.8 in the 40, which is good for a 6'5 quarterback.
Good it is. First down near the Oklahoma 42 now. Hurricanes are leading 14-7, and they've got something cooking to start the second half. Ball is handed off to Warren Williams. And he's to the Oklahoma 35. And he's going to be 3 yards short of the first down. There's the offensive alignment for Miami with 11 minutes to play in the third quarter. And the crowd very quiet now as Miami, getting its first possession, starts to move the ball up the field.
Second down, 3 yards to go for Miami.
They're trying to wave. That shouldn't bother the Hurricanes. They're making a lot of waves. Penalty flag flies as Highsmith dives for sufficient yardage for the first down, but let's see about the flag.
Instead of Miami having second down and 3, it's going to be second down and 8 or second down and 13. Yep, 13. Only the third penalty against Miami. Puts Miami right back into the passing situation, but that doesn't bother a team that can run or pass equally well. Oklahoma stays in their 4-man front, Keith, trying to put pressure with minimum people rushing.
on the offense. It is still second down.
This is a good blitzing situation.
Nebraska won today, but it wasn't easy. Big day for DeVos. Maryland won. Yellow ball, big day. Second down, 13. Ball back at the 45. Dumps it off, throws the ball behind Highsmith, and a penalty flag is thrown here. Let's see what John McClintock, the referee, threw it.
It's against the defensive end, a linebacker blitzing Jones, I guess.
Rayburn was coming, and somebody got him by the coattail and held him.
No, it was on the other team, Keith. No?
So Miami holding.
Yeah, it is, Keith. Looks like might be on the offensive center for Riccozzi. Number 74 just reaches out and grabs him around the neck. And it's hard to rush the passer. Williams, number 93, had no chance. Referee right there called it.
Successive penalties for holding now backs him up 20 yards. And the ball rests at the 45 of Miami. And they've got to go to the 32 of Oklahoma.
Keith, on that play, you can use your hands as long as it's within the frame of the body. He got the arm outside the body.
On second down and 23, the pass is nailed to Brian Blades. And Blades is knocked out of bounds a yard short of the first down.
On a pass like this, Testaverde has to throw the ball before the final cut. This is a great experience. Finally, Blades, number 9, comes in front of the safety man in behind the cornerback. Blades goes inside, then breaks back out. The ball is already on the way, right there. Now as he turns, gets eye contact with the ball, and he's right at the down marker. Excellent, excellent execution.
3rd and 1 now for Miami. Go to a power set. Give it to Highsmith. And Alonso has the first down at the 30.
Most of Miami's running plays, Keith, are just run for daylight. Trying to be as simple, look complicated, but be as simple as possible. Letting the lineman fire out and the back run for daylight because they've got good backs. And here's what Testaverde has done today. 12 out of 18. No interceptions.
The Miami running game in 20 rushes, 64 yards, and Troy Aikman, who started for Oklahoma, with a broken ankle. Testaverde back. Zips it to the sidelines. It's good to Willie Smith. A pickup of 7 on the play. He's not that hungry, is he? He'll take what they give him.
One thing that a great quarterback has to do, in particular, Keith, let me say, if a quarterback has 62% completion average, as does Testaverde, then you know he's patient. You recognize it. Instead of forcing the ball deep, he looks for the person to lay the ball off for the short gain and hope they'll run after the catch.
Second down, 3. Highsmith finds a hole on the corner and finally loses his balance and hits the out of bounds at the 5-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal to go Miami. Miami jumping out to a 7-0 lead on a 56-yard pass play. Oklahoma drove back 80 yards to tie it. Miami came back to lead 14-7 at halftime. Oklahoma's first possession of the second half. They were thwarted on a pass interception, and now Miami is trying to respond and drive it down. And if they do, they will overcome 2 holding penalties. Ball is handed off to Highsmith, and he gets down inside the 3 before Ricky Dixon leads the surge that pushes him back. It'll be second down and goal. 14-7, Miami leading.
Keith, I think we should point out again that Oklahoma is the number 1 defense in the country against the run, against the total defense, and Miami mixing it up, keeping these great Oklahoma defenders off balance. It's hard to get set against a team like Miami that is talented both running and passing. They're the Sooner numbers on defense.
Testaverde flips the ball out. Highsmith drops it. He was trying to get him out there on a screenplay action. He had 2 blockers in front of him. And an Oklahoma man sort of got between him and the quarterback, and he probably lost partial vision there, but he dropped the ball.
Testaverde throws the ball off balance, but the read number 40 is right there. Right there. Forced the bad throw. Now, Miami's in either a fooling play or a passing situation.
Well, they were down here on 4th down for their go-ahead touchdown. Testaverde bootlegged it. This time he'll just drop and zip one, and it's incomplete.
Oh, Keith, he missed. Highsmith was wide open.
Irvin was the man that he chose to throw to, but Highsmith was wide open.
All out in the flat. Irvin goes inside, and there's nobody to cover Highsmith in the flat. But the timing was a little quick drop, and the ball is a little bit low. But I guess Irvin was open. He had thrown an accurate pass, but he could have just floated it out with tissue paper to Highsmith for the touchdown. Didn't see it.
So they will settle for 3 if they can get it from 20 yards out of Greg Cox. Cox kicked from 40 earlier. It was wide left.
This is just like an extra point, Keith.
Kintai fumbled the snap, but he still knocks it through, and there's a flag. I think somebody came in and whacked the kicker.
They did, Keith. It's a 15-yard penalty. Half the distance to the goal. A personal penalty may give Miami a first down on the 1.5-yard line. And so Jimmy Johnson has got to decide whether he wants to take the 3 points. That may be an automatic first down. Most personal fouls are automatic first down.
Rayburn was the man that committed the foul. John McClintock explaining it now.
Miami's going to have a tough decision.
I think.
They declined it.
They're not going to take the points off the board.
Good rule.
They will take the 3 points and make it a 17-7. Here's another look at the play.
35.
Ball's fumbled, and here comes Rayburn.
Rayburn comes in, and then he charges into the kicker with his headgear, hits him right in the face. 15 yards.
17-7 with 8:49 to go, 3rd quarter. And a first down?
Well, it would have been a first
17-7. We're still discussing the decision by Jimmy Johnson to leave the 3 points on the board. And there is an old rule of thumb. It's sort of like playing the stock market. You take 10% profit and get out, right? And some coaches just won't take points off the scoreboard.
Well, Jimmy Johnson knows how effective the Oklahoma defense is on the goal line. He coached against them, watched them stop Nebraska and other teams from the 1-yard line. Maybe it's a good call.
The penalty is assessed, however, in this instance, 15 yards, and on the kickoff. And so Oklahoma starts at the 20, and Various Switzer's a man who loves to run the ball.
I've always had that philosophy that the winning, there's a great correlation between winning and rushing the football. And all the top rushers in college football for the last couple of decades, the Alabamas, the Michigans, Ohio States, the Oklahomas, Nebraskas, they're great rushing football teams, and they have great winning percentages.
And he will not go away from it, even though his team is down by 10 points with 8:49 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Keith, on that last possession, Holloway came out through 3 passes and looked good. Yep.
21-yard line on that carry, and we've now clarified the call from it was a personal foul because he simply hit the kicker, and it would not have been a first down.
The ruling on that McClintock made, the play was over, so it was a personal foul, dead ball foul, meaning that the play is over and you...
Right. Dead ball foul, they didn't have an option.
Yes.
Lydell Carr isn't going anywhere. In fact, he's going to lose a yard on that carry in the arms of Derwin Jones. So this Miami defensive front has been asserting itself all day. The games we'll have for you next Saturday, Penn State and West Virginia at State College. And I hope the weather holds. Nebraska and Colorado at Lincoln. Colorado was winning big today as they rolled over Iowa State. They're leading in the 4th quarter. The game is still alive. And the Penn State-West Virginia game will be seen in the eastern part of the country, east of the Mississippi, and the rest of the country west of the Mississippi sees Nebraska-Colorado. Mel Holloway caught behind the line of scrimmage. He's still fighting, but he's going to lose a chunk. Well, he's had it drummed into him, you know, don't throw the thing up for grabs and let somebody pick it off, so he kept it. He kept looking for somebody to help him out and kept giving up real estate. And now he's way back there inside the 10-yard line, and Mike Winchester comes to stand in the end zone to punt. He has the wind at his back. It's not a strong wind at all, but it will help a little bit.
Keith, on that last play, Miami, as Oklahoma only had 10 men, Miami rushed the freshman quarterback. That's a good decision. Coaches agree. Rushing
Looks like they're going after Winchester, too. Oh, they almost got it. And they force a short kick out of it as Kintai comes up and takes it. And he's a bit of a daredevil as he disdained the fair catch and took the abuse. And Miami has the ball at the Oklahoma 39.
I know Barry Switzer does it. Kicking behind your goal line. Expect the blitz. Take 2 steps and get it off. And Winchester did it. Otherwise, if he'd slowed down at all, it would have been blocked.
But Miami, after a 30-yard punt, has it at the Oklahoma 38, where they put it. And Testaverde hands it off to Bratton. And Mel Bratton picks up about 3 yards. Now Jim Lampley.
All right, Keith, here's the latest from Iowa City, where Iowa got a Houghton field goal from 27 yards on the last play of the first half and trails Michigan 7-6. Key stat in the first half, long, 12 of 18, 156 yards, no interceptions against the Wolverine defense that had 14 coming in. Back to you.
2nd down and 7, Miami at the Oklahoma 35. Testaverde throwing on 2nd down. Goes outside to Blades. And Brian Blades, the sophomore, pulls it in front of Derek White, takes the lick, and he's got a first down for Miami.
A 40-yard pass for a 6-yard gain, and it was rifled. Otherwise, I believe, Keith, Oklahoma would have picked it off. Couldn't play the outside cut any better.
Ball is just short of the 26. 17-7. Miami leading. 5:55 to go in the 3rd quarter. Testaverde throws on 1st down. I'll rephrase that. He was trying to throw on 1st down.
Well, the Oklahoma secondary covered the 2 receivers. A play-action pass, something that Miami has not done. Fake to Highsmith, number 30, and Miami, the Oklahoma defensive backs do an excellent job of covering Blades, and looked like it was Mitchell out of the backfield, and the sack resulted.
Reed, and Williams. 2nd sack of the ball game.
Here's Blades, number 9, trying to get open. Fake and go, is going for the touchdown. Number 14, White lets him go by, and he gets hit by Dixon and falls.
Testaverde on a deep drop now on 2nd down at about 15. And he finally runs out of real estate, and the Miami receivers.
Keith, that's a great call. The receivers did not break back. They quit. If Miami receivers had come back towards the scramble direction, maybe they had somebody to throw to. But there was Jones right there. I mean, Reed, excuse me.
Well, Blades had come down to the corner. He never made any effort to come back. In fact, none of them came back to the ball. And
they just rested.
Yeah. I'll tell you, your quarterback's going to take some abuse when he's out in the open field like that with people like Darrell Reed pursuing him.
Reed's an all Big 8 as a freshman last year, defensive end.
It's now 3rd down and 18. Back on the 35. And they're going after him again. This time the protection is better. Blades is in the corner. He's got it. Touchdown.
Yeah, he threaded a needle. When I tell you he threaded a needle, they won 2 feet of open space to throw the ball between 2 defenders. Keith, that was sensational.
Well, you saw Barry Switzer, and if you read his lips, he said it was a perfect pass, and it was.
Let me tell you, Oklahoma had 2 men covering Blades. Why they didn't go for the ball, I don't know, except the ball was rifled in there.
Cox for the extra point. He's never missed. This time the snap and the hold are both good, and the kick is true. And at 4:06 to play in the third quarter, it is now 24-7 Miami. Now watch this pass.
Watch the protection. The blitz is on. And Highsmith, number 30, on the right of your screen, sees the blitz coming and he releases, and the protection is good right there. And the drill, now the catch. Watch the catch carefully. 2 men right there, but the ball was thrown perfectly to Blades over the defensive back's head. He must have misjudged on isolation. Let's see if we can tell. Now, Glenn releases him to the safety man. Where's the safety man? Here he comes. Number 29, Dixon, right there. But he misjudged the depth and came in front of the receiver. Touchdown resulting. Blades there once again.
And a considerable case of shock now has settled at Owen Field on the home crowd. Oklahoma's opening home game. Testaverde now is thrown for 2 touchdowns and run for another. And Miami will kick off with Patrick Collins and Eric Mitchell.
I believe that's the 5th time that Testaverde has thrown 2 touchdown passes this year. Remember, he sat back behind Bernie Kosar and watched and learned from him. And when the opportunity came, he was ready. There's the scoring drive.
And Oklahoma has lost its passing quarterback Troy Aikman to a broken ankle. And the kickoff into the end zone. It will be returned from the goal line by Patrick Collins. Collins stops, now tries to go around. He's got the speed and he gets around the first man, but the second man nails him up on the 22, Randy Shannon. So Oklahoma will start first down at the 22. There's a score we've given you a few times. That's one of the games we'll be seeing next week, Penn State, West Virginia. 3:56 to go in the third quarter. Ohio State, and now Texas on the third field goal is going to hit Arkansas 9-7 in the third quarter. And Georgia Tech is leading Auburn in the third quarter. Georgia was tied today by Vanderbilt, 13-13. Here comes Holloway. Jamil Holloway, the freshman quarterback, 2 yards as he decided to keep it. Miami had drifted a man defensively in between him and his pitch man. And Jerome Brown and Bruce Fleming combined for the play. Colorado is another team running the wishbone this year and doing very well with it. And Oregon State leading Washington at halftime. If that were to hold that way, that'd be the biggest upset in years. USC over Stanford. Oh, bad pitch. Fumble, recovery, Miami on the football is John McVay. As Holloway was hit just as he pitched the ball out, and Miami's got a break.
Once again, Miami using some stunts on the corner at the bottom of your screen, trying to confuse the young freshman. Now, I guess that was Brown again.
Yep,
Jerome Brown right through there, hit him in the back and forced the bad pitch.
Jerome Brown has been a load all day for Oklahoma. 6'4", 265, a junior from Brooksville, Florida.
Oklahoma's defense has been sensational against the run. Have not faced a team, Keith, as we said earlier, that can run and throw like Miami.
Bratton from the 22 to the 19.
And even though Miami has not made a lot of yards, Keith, rushing the football, they have forced Oklahoma to stay honest, to stay up there to stop the run, and that's what's letting the passing continue to be successful.
Now you've got Blades and Irvin wide. Second down and 7, Testaverde. Irvin, the ball is tipped. At the line of scrimmage, or just behind the line of scrimmage, linebacker Brian Bosworth reached up and nipped the ball. It lost its velocity, and it's a good thing for Oklahoma because Irvin was open.
Once again, notice carefully that number 44, Bosworth, is going to get his hands up right there. That right palm knocks the ball down. As you can see, Irvin coming in would have been a touchdown, or at least a nice game.
So it's 3rd and 7 from the 19 of Oklahoma. Blitz on, they pick it up. Testaverde shoots it, intended for Smith, and the ball is knocked away by Brian Bosworth.
Most of the time we think of great linebackers predominantly good against the run. Bosworth has made 2 sensational plays against the pass. This one, he dives. He leaves his feet. Watch right here. He just goes right out and dives and knocks the ball out of the hands of the receiver at the last instant. Tremendous play.
We didn't call his name much, in fact, not at all the first half, but he's been very obvious in the third quarter. 36-yard field goal try by Greg Cox. And he got it. And it's 27-7 now, with 2 minutes and 34 seconds to play in the third quarter. Miami has control. Well, if you've just joined us, I'm sure you're a little shocked to see that. A 20-point lead for the Miami Hurricanes with 2:34 to go in the third quarter. The Oklahoma Sooners have not been able to do much in the second half. They haven't done all that much in the whole ball game insofar as mounting any kind of consistency in the offensive attack.
Miami defense has just seemed to be getting better and better against the wishbone, in particular giving the young freshman quarterback playing for the injured Aikman some real problems.
That's Collins drifting under it, a yard deep in the end zone. Patrick looking for a crack, and he almost found one. He got himself out across the 25 to the 26 with 2:29 to go in the third quarter. And tonight, that's what we have for you. The World Series, Game 1. An all-Missouri showdown this year between the Royals and the Cardinals. The first time that's happened since back in 1944 when the Browns and the Cardinals played.
Geez, you weren't born then, were you? I remember the Browns winning during the war.
Kai Kyler was my big hero that year.
But he was the manager in Atlanta when I was growing up.
Holloway, a little indecisive now as Miami is putting the pressure on him, and he'll pick up a couple of yards. Here's Jim.
All right, here's what's happening in Fayetteville. Texas has gotten 2 Jeff Ward field goals in the third quarter and now leads the football game 12-7 over Arkansas. The kicking game has occasionally bedeviled Arkansas in recent years, and today kicker Greg Horn has missed 3 field goals for the Razorbacks. So right now it's Texas on top of 5th-rated Arkansas 12-7. Keith?
It's rough times these days for highly ranked teams. This is Patrick Collins trying to get around the corner. And number 32, Selwyn Brown, was almost taken out of the play, but retained enough of his position to get a piece of him and kept him from really making the turn upfield. He did get to the 35, which leaves him a yard short of the first down.
Great effort by Collins to sidestep the halfback and turn up the field to make something out of nothing, really, Keith. Miami defense had moved out the line beautifully.
Looks like the Oklahoma backs might be swinging a little deeper now than they were early in the game.
Could be forced by the defense.
Lydell Carr, going for the first down. He didn't get a whole lot, but I think he got just enough.
The Miami defensive backs are getting more penetration, Keith, and that forces the Oklahoma halfbacks to run the horn, as we say, give ground.
Stell comes in, replacing Collins. Barry's used 8 running backs today. Holloway rides it off to Lydell Carr, the fullback. And Lydell Carr lays a lick on Benny Blades, and they're both slow to get up. Blades stuck his head right between Carr's legs and looked like he might have taken a knee to the head. And he's down flat, and Carr up very gingerly himself. That was a collision.
Right up the middle. When the fullback pops on the wishbone, the only man that can make the play is the free safety. Now, Blades is a 200-pounder. Tough youngster. He does duck his head, Keith. You're right. When he ducks his head, he puts it right into that knee, turning legs of Carr.
It's dangerous. 1:01 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, Keith, we try to teach our tackling to tackle with our head up and let the head slide by and make the contact with your shoulder pad. All you young football players listed, make the tackle with your shoulder pad. Don't stick your head down and hit it into the legs. We try to teach against that.
Benny's going to be all right, apparently, but he was stunned after that collision with Carr. And Oklahoma right now sitting with a first down The ball is up on the 48-yard line, and Blades will have to come out for a time. Looking at the top 10, Iowa losing at halftime, Oklahoma losing, Michigan winning, Penn State won, Arkansas losing, Nebraska won, Auburn losing, Air Force won, and Ohio State won. BYU plays tonight. They take it back inside. They're working Carr hard, and the big 215-pounder will get about 4 yards on that carry to make it 2nd down and 6.
Most teams that run the wishbone alternate their fullbacks, Keith. It's such a punishing position to fire into that middle on virtually every play and take the pounding from the guard, tackles, and linebackers.
Oklahoma's picked up 314 yards on 16 first downs, but they've scored only 7 points. And there's very little gain on that play as Holloway is brought down by Darren McMurray. And we're winding into the final seconds of the 3rd quarter, and I think they're going to let the clock run out. 27-7. Miami leads by 20. And Oklahoma is content to let the 3rd quarter run out. So we'll be back. Quarter of play, just 15 minutes remaining. Oklahoma trailing by 20, 27-20. Miami taking control of the ball game. It is 3rd down and 5 for the Sooners. At the Miami 47-yard line, Jamil Holloway keeping the ball and gets the 1st down at the 36 of Miami. Troy Aikman gone with a broken ankle, and the freshman quarterback having to step in and carry the load.
True triple option. Sink the ball in the fullback's pocket right there. Run and see what the defensive end's going to do. He takes the outside, takes the pitch, so you keep it as quarterback and turn up and make the yardage.
On 1st down, Holloway gives the ball to Lydell Carr. And Carr picks up about 5. But I don't know if there's enough time left to keep on pounding away at 3, 4, 5 yards a clip.
Here are the stats. Oklahoma leads in first downs in rushing, Miami in passing, and total yardage. The key being the injury to the quarterback of Oklahoma, Aikman, and 2 turnovers resulting by the freshman.
Holloway keeping the ball again, turns it upfield, and he's close to another 1st down. But right now, it is Carr and Holloway doing virtually all of the work.
See, the Oklahoma offense has had 1 fumble, 1 interception, 1 missed field goal, 1 blocked field goal, and failed on a 4th down, all in the first 3 quarters. Had some opportunities that they couldn't cash in on.
That big old 98 walking right there. He's Jerome Brown has been all over the football field today.
Jerome Brown is a junior. Number 98. Playing right over the offensive guard, Farrah. Pushes him to the ground and just pursues out the line. Won't give up. Chase that football. Take the proper angle where you can make the play. Number 88, Jerome Brown, has had a sensational game, Keith. Blocking that field goal may have been the turning point.
Could be. 26-yard line of Miami now. 1st down, Oklahoma. And Holloway gets loose in the middle. And we'll get about 4. Close to 5. Make it 4.
Well, Brown had penetration again. Looked like he missed the tackle in the backfield. Brown penetrates number 98. Jimmy Johnson has always wanted penetration against the wishbone. So we see a little penetration right here by Brown. Number 98 diving, but Holloway is too quick and gets away from it.
Holloway now with 40 yards on the ground. Gives to Carr, the fullback. And on 2nd down and 6, Carr is just at the 20. So they need about 3.5 yards, close to 4. And again, Brown has the tackle.
Keith, even though you know your 2nd-string quarterback has to be ready in case of an injury, most coaches, and I'm sure Barry does the same thing, you set up your practice and your starter gets about 2/3 of the work. A young quarterback about 1/3. So Holloway is playing with about 1/3 of the work that less than half the work of Aikman.
Keeps it, gets the 1st down. And he's just inside the 13 of Miami.
He turned on a dime, 90 degrees. The distinguishing quality of a wishbone quarterback is cut it 90 degrees without slowing up. Fake to the fullback, right in the line. Go out, nothing there, turn it up. Right there, turns it up with speed. He turns it up with a little quickness there and takes a missed tackle.
Now they finally give it to another back, Damon Stell, and Stell from the 13 to about the 8. And time remaining in the game, 12:35. I'll go back to what I said a while ago. This kind of an attack eats a lot of time off the clock.
You want to be ahead with this style of play, and Barry Switzer's teams have won 118 times and lost only 23 running this style. But I don't remember the last time they were creating about 20 points in the fourth quarter. Maybe never.
Holloway dancing around and gets to about the 6 before he is rolled down. So they'll be looking at 3rd down and the better part of 4 yards.
Well, Myra had Holloway for a loss, but there's a little bit of a mismatch. Holloway at 1.7 and Quick as a hiccup, a water bug, whichever you've already defined him, Keith. Myra, the linebacker, 225, just missed him in the backfield.
Ball's on the 6. They need more than 3. It's close to 4. Give the ball to Stell again. And Stell diving for the 3 is close, but I don't know.
Keith, it's going to be right on the marker. Close to the first down, if not the first down. Well, it's going to be...
Don't think they got the spot.
Maybe about an inch short, but it's very close. The ball is marked just inside the 3-yard line, and the down marker is just inside the 3.
You're wrong. It's 4 inches.
You were right. It was short. The spot, the dance forward progress was very close there.
9 different runners have totaled 204 yards for Oklahoma. They're looking now at 4th and about 4 inches. The ball is just short of the Miami 3-yard line with 11.5 minutes to play in the ball game, and Miami leading 27-7. Quarterback Holloway keeps it, and he will have the first down.
Best play to run when you've got a quarterback with quickness. You don't have to take the ball in the backfield. You're right behind the center. You've got good offensive linemen. Fire out and jump through them and make the first down.
Well, that's balance for Miami, isn't it?
Beautiful balance. Oklahoma, about what we expected. But I would say, Keith, Aikman, before his injury, was looking brilliant as a wishbone quarterback, favoring the pass more than the run.
On 1st and goal, the 20th first down for Oklahoma. The surge is right to the goal line, but it is just short. And it was Damon Stell carrying the ball.
The offensive line of Oklahoma has done yeoman work. That's Hudson, Pope, Simpson, Phillips, and Greg Johnson. Well, we have an injured player. Number 58 is linebacker.
Bruce Fleming, the senior from Monaca, Pennsylvania, hurt on the previous play. Timeout for him. Well, Bruce Fleming is still down and got trapped in the bottom of that melee around the goal line. And they've not been able to get him up as yet. 10:52 to play in the ball game. Oklahoma has had the football in this possession about 6 minutes and 40 seconds. And yet they have not stuck it in the end zone as yet. They're very close. Green Bay Packers will be the next to challenge the high-rolling Chicago Bears on our presentation of ABC's NFL Monday Night Football this coming Monday at 9 Eastern Time. The Oklahoma rushing in this ball game, Carr has 78 yards. Holloway has 51 yards, but Collins, Stafford, Perry, Aikman, Anderson, Maloney all have yardage to their totals, and Stell is about to get even with things. Damon is now -2.
Keith, what this tells you, in Oklahoma playing this many running backs, they're all young. He hasn't been able to really judge which of the backs are going to come to the top and be the first teamers.
So we're still waiting on the injured player. Let's spend a moment with Jim Lampley.
All right, and more from Fayetteville, Arkansas, where Jeff Ward has now kicked his 5th field goal for Texas. It's 15-7 Longhorns with about 12 minutes to go. Ward now 5 for 5 in the game, and the 5 field goals are a school record. Remember, earlier today, Dale Klein of Nebraska kicked 7 to tie an NCAA record. And my question to Frank Broyles, particularly with all the artificial turf that college teams are playing on now, would you eliminate the kicking tee?
Yes, Jim, I would eliminate the kicking tee, and I would move
the goalposts back to their original size that we had them before 1958. I think that the field goal has become too dominant in football today, and make it where it's tough to kick it. I'm not sure what would happen to the sidewinders that we see today that in college so many of them might not be able to get the ball high enough, and we might see more straight ahead kickers, Jim.
You can see Fleming now is coming off the field. They put the leg brace on him. That's why what they ran back to get. So there's another leg injury. Oklahoma lost its quarterback to a fractured ankle, and now Fleming is hobbling off the field. Oklahoma has only thrown one pass in the second half of play with Holloway at quarterback, and that was intercepted. Now it is second down and goal.
Well, Keith, unless they unpile and he's across the goal line. But the officials had marked it just where he started, about 6 inches from the goal line. Oklahoma.
Well, Miami's got too much heft. I mean, you got down there in the middle, you got Derwin Jones 270 and Jerome Brown 265. I mean, those are two big, strong people.
One of Oklahoma's favorite scoring plays is the double isolation, turn, hand it to the halfback, and the other fullback and the other halfback and the fullback leading blockers, and halfback jump over the line. That's what Tillman used to do.
Of course, at the same time, when you consider that Oklahoma's offensive front runs from tackle to tackle 280, 265, 265, 275, and 305, you say, well, shoot, they ought to walk through a wall.
Well, the defense get lower than the offense, and they build another line of scrimmage about a yard in the backfield, and the defense lining up in the creases, in the gaps, have that advantage on the goal line. They can get some penetration in the gaps, regardless of how big the offensive line might be.
We've got a little trouble now, apparently, with the clock showing 10:73.
That's a new one.
So, while we try to straighten that out, let's check on more scores with Jim.
Grant Field Lightning by Bo Jackson. He has just gone 76 yards for the Auburn touchdown that has finally given them the lead against Georgia Tech, 17-14. Bo now over 200 yards in the game. So, in the Heisman Trophy race at this moment, you have Chuck Long in a struggle against Michigan, but playing well in Iowa City. Bo Jackson coming through with the big play in Atlanta. Back to you, Keith.
And we're still trying to fix the clock.
Speaking of Bo Jackson, Keith, I don't think we've seen in our time a runner with as much ability, both power and speed. He weighs about 225, and he runs like a 160-pounder. And he can run over you or outrun you, just according to whatever the situation dictates.
Colorado winning big today, the best start they've had in a long time. Iowa State helped them some with 7 turnovers. Well, I'm going to ask you a question now, and you've known Barry Switzer almost all of his life. He's got Patrick Collins in that backfield, who is a great leaper. Now, I've seen Collins go up and dunk the football over the goalpost. I know he can jump. Why don't we give somebody like that a chance to go over the top here?
Keith, I think they will. The wishbone is a little bit handicapped more than the I formation. You can go over the top easily with an I tailback 7 yards. The wishbone tailbacks don't really have that opportunity unless they go across the backfield. And that's normally what Oklahoma runs. They do leap and go over, as you mentioned, but they cross the line of scrimmage from the right to the left to accomplish that.
And they're having to roll the clock down, I guess, to reset it. I don't know exactly what they're doing with it because they're still fiddling around with it. The Ivy League scores there. This was the 64th consecutive sellout at Memorial Stadium for the University of Oklahoma. They didn't open their season until the 28th of September, and they were the preseason pick for #1 by a lot of people. And their offense was just not totally, it just wasn't effective against Minnesota. They won by 6 points. They won by 7 points against Texas. And now here they are. They're getting whacked around pretty good by Miami.
Keith, all the backs, names that you have called are sophomores or less. You cannot speed up the process of experience. When you're playing 10 backs, you just never get in the rhythm of the ball game, and Barry doesn't know which one to play. They all look about the same, and he's trying to find one that will stand out and be the one that will make them a good football team.
We're just about ready for the clock to roll, and we've got it set now at 10 minutes and 32 seconds, and it's 3rd down and goal for Oklahoma. The ball is a half a yard away from the goal line. He gives the ball to Lydell Carr, and Carr, touchdown.
Here it is. Carr just goes over the top. And Keith had already asked why, and as the ball breaks the plane, all it has to do is break imaginary plane upward from the goal line, and officials signal touchdown.
Lasher's extra point is good. You've got 10 minutes and 28 seconds to play in the game, 27 to 14, but Oklahoma required 7 minutes plus for that touchdown. The Miami Hurricanes are anticipating onside kick here from Oklahoma. They've got backs, receivers, and defensive backs up along the receiving line for the Oklahoma kickoff. Todd Thompson will kick it for Oklahoma. Harriman and Kintai are deep for Miami, and Thompson kicks it away. Well, that'll probably hinder somewhat. He just let that thing die down in the end zone. Because when you got all those backs and receivers and everybody like that up there, you can't expect a whole lot of blocking to get you back upfield. All right, Tim Brent.
Keith, we're on the Miami sideline where they have just finished working with Bruce Fleming. It is a sprained left knee. He is extremely dejected right now and upset because of the injury itself. He's being consoled here by the priest on the sidelines of Miami, but it is a sprained knee. They will not know the extent or the damage of that knee until it is examined further after the game, but right now they say it is a sprained knee. He will not be back the rest of the afternoon.
All right, 10:28 to play in the game, 27 to 14. Miami leads Oklahoma. Testaverde on the snap from the 20 gives to Alonzo Highsmith, and Highsmith is dragged down for a 2-yard loss.
Kevin Murphy, I believe.
Yep.
Goodness, Keith, what a play. He took on the blocker, and just the block didn't phase him. He goes right out and makes the play for a loss, something that Oklahoma needed right now. Some enthusiasm, some momentum to try to stop this Miami offense.
Might force Testaverde into throwing the ball, and I would think that's probably the last thing he wants to do at this point.
But he's going to throw it, Keith. They've got confidence. Don't worry about that. They may not want to, but they will. Here's the blitz.
That's Oliver. Darrell Oliver gets to the 19, and it's 3rd and 11.
Now Jimmy Johnson, the head coaches dictate the run-pass ratio of a football team. The coach up in the press box calls the plays, Keith, but the head coach dictates how many we're going to throw. In this situation, what are we going to throw? So Jimmy's got it on his shoulders to call.
Arkansas has scored, but missed a 2-point conversion and trail now by 2 as David Kintai is in at flanker for Miami on 3rd down 11. And Testaverde to throw it. And zips it. And he hits Kintai on the money. And his second effort, the initial contact was short of the first down, but Kintai slipped away from Sonny Brown and gets the first down.
Kintai is going to go out in the flat. Brown plays it beautifully, reacts on the throw, but Kintai escapes. He just catches the ball in enough time to gain his balance and then twists for the first down.
And the ball is out at the 32. And there's the time remaining, and that got Miami off the hook. They lead 27 to 14. And the ball to Highsmith. And he's buried right at the line of scrimmage. Curtis Williams, the nose tackle, the first man to get him.
One thing, Keith, about this style of play, here's what the Hurricanes have done against the #1 defense. You can see the longest plays and drives and so forth against the #1 defense. Most yards passing. But this style of play, Keith, doesn't give the opposing defense time to get the emotion.
2nd and 10. Bosworth showed blitz, but the long count stopped him, but the Oklahoma defense rises up to get Mel Bratton right at the line of scrimmage, and Melvin goes down. So at 7:50 now, it is 3rd and 10.
When you stop the opposing team like Oklahoma has done twice on 1st and 2nd down, and then the quarterback with a rifle arm, excellent receivers, good protection, throws for the 1st down, Keith, it's demoralizing. It's hard to get that momentum going for you against this style of offense.
They're anticipating pass, obviously, on 3rd and 10. Nichols defense.
4-man rush.
Linebackers drop. Testaverde's pass away. Smith has it. And Smith is knocked down by Brian Bosworth short of the 1st down. Bosworth went high. Smith almost got loose underneath.
Tight end Smith caught 66 passes. Last year he had 12 against Maryland, 11 against Florida. Kind of like a running back. After he catches the ball, he's just about as effective making yardage as running backs, but not with the All-American Bosworth thing. He's caught 6 today.
Nichols is in to punt now. And Derek Shepard is deep for Oklahoma, standing back just inside his 20. Good punt. 18-yard line, Shepard. Just not enough help back there. He does return it to the 26, a 41-yard punt, 7-yard return, 6:39 to play in the football game. And Oklahoma needs some points if they are to make a threat in the closing seconds. And tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, we hope you'll join us here on ABC for the opening of the World Series, Kansas City and St. Louis. Pitchers are Danny Jackson for the Royals and John Tudor for the Cardinals. Al Michaels, Jim Palmer, Timmy McCarver, Reggie Jackson. Nothing there.
I believe that the Miami defense, it appears, has just made up their mind. They're going to get in and force Oklahoma, if possible, to pass the football with a freshman quarterback. As we look at Barry, what a tremendous career he has had at Oklahoma. 20 years he's been here as assistant coach and head coach. This is his 13th year as the head coach.
2nd down and 8.
Reverse.
This is Patrick Collins, and Collins finally runs out of room up around the 31-yard line.
Miami staying at home a little bit better on the reverse plays, Keith. They were burned earlier, but were lucky enough to have the play called back because of a penalty. Keith Jackson, the tight end, has been quiet. When Aiken was a quarterback, Keith Jackson was having a tremendous game. It caught 6 passes.
Caught 3 passes.
3 passes. 3
yards.
passes for 81.
3rd down and 6. Here's Holloway, a little deeper drop this time. Gets it off to Shepard and throws it too high. He had to drop it in between 2 defenders, and he just couldn't do it.
Good call, Keith. The strong safety had dropped back. A one-man pattern, either open or not open. Shepard goes down, fakes deep, and he's open as far as the defensive back is concerned, but the safety man in front made him force it high. Forced the ball high.
And it brings on 4th down and Winchester, the punter. And it looks like another undefeated team is going to fall. 6 teams in the top 20 were beaten last weekend. There's about the same number having trouble this week. Kintai calls fair catch and then lets the ball roll, and it takes an Oklahoma bounce, and it's going to roll for a while. It wasn't a very good punt by Winchester, but it had the kind of action on it where it took the roll toward the Miami goal, and it stopped down about the 10, 60 yards. The Miami Hurricanes have respotted the ball at the 12, and Miami will have it now and will try to eat up the clock. Oklahoma needs some luck. Testaverde keeps it on a bootleg and sits down at 21.
And he didn't go out of bounds, Keith.
Nope.
He slid into the boundary but stopped so that the clock would continue to roll.
9 yards.
Oklahoma defense is so eager. That's when you're vulnerable to the bootleg. Everybody going with the fake of the backs. Testaverde, watch him slide. And not go out of bounds. Keep the clock going.
2nd and 1. Williams has the 1st down as he gets to the 26. 4:34 to play. Here's Jim.
All right, the #1 team has taken the lead in Iowa City. A field goal by Houtland from 36 yards out has given the Hawkeyes a 9-7 lead over Michigan. Long is 8 of 11 in the second half. He has thrown an interception, but has the Iowa offense under control. However, Jamie Morris just broke a big run for Michigan, and they are nearing field goal territory. There are still about 10 minutes to go in the game. Now let's take you back to Keith Jackson, where the upset continues in Norman.
First down Miami at the 26. Both teams 3 timeouts. Time is so precious now for the Oklahomans. And Mel Bratton is tripped up by number 93, Curtis Williams, who fought his way from the nose guard position to bring him down. Miami will have Louisville at home next. Then they get another test on the road where they have to go to Tallahassee and play Florida State on the 2nd of November.
The state of Florida has got some good football teams, Keith. Florida State, outstanding team so far. Lost 1 game, I guess, and Miami lost 1, and Florida none with a tie.
Oklahoma has Iowa State next in conference play. Of course, they very much, even if they lose today, remain a part of the Big 8 chase. And the pass is dumped by Testaverde. He sort of threw a knuckleball out there. He didn't, I don't think, have control of the ball, so he tried to push it out to Melvin Bratton, and it didn't work.
Keith, I think Testaverde was throwing the ball out of bounds where it could not be intercepted because Oklahoma had covered all 3 of the receivers on that side of the field. There's the score. The key to this game so far has been the fact that the 4-man rush Oklahoma was depending on has not pressured Testaverde enough. And plus the fact that Oklahoma quarterback, who was looking sensational, broke his ankle in the 2nd quarter.
3rd down, about 11 for Miami. Down he goes. 4th sack of the ball game. Kevin Murphy made 2 big defensive plays here in the last couple of minutes.
Kevin Murphy made 144 tackles in 1983, most by down lineman ever at Oklahoma. And you can see how active he is, how quick, how tough. Barry Switzer told me he plays with in a bad attitude, mad attitude all the time. Oklahoma is taking the timeout, Keith.
And it stops the clock at 3:15 to play in the game. 27-14 Miami. And this Miami ball club is going to jump up in the rankings, and they should. It's a pretty good football team. They were right in that game in the opener with Florida. Kerwin Bell threw 4 touchdown passes in the ball game, but it was close and very late into the ball game.
The Miami defense against Florida, Keith, allowed them only 53 yards rushing.
Penn State, West Virginia for the eastern part of the country next week, east of the Mississippi, and Nebraska, Colorado, west of the Mississippi. Penn State winning today by 4 at Syracuse, and West Virginia winning at home over BC. Nebraska beat Missouri by 8, and Colorado rolled against Iowa State.
I think Colorado may be the biggest turnaround that we've seen in college football in many, many years.
Derek Shepard is deep now as Feagles comes in to punt. End over end. Shepard fields it, has 2 blocks, and returns it inside the 40. 35-yard punt and a 14-yard return. And Derek Shepard that time just made up his mind, I'm going that way. Boom, and away he went.
That's the way to return the punt, Keith, when you're in this late stage of the ball game. Turn it up, find your crack, and just hope you can split the defenders and make the long run.
Man down for Miami. They've already lost Fleming to a twisted knee. And you've got 3:06 to play in the football game. It's first down Oklahoma at the Miami 38. Well, if they were to hit one quick here, they would still be in the hunt. Brian Smith was the injured Miami player, got up, trotted off the field. Seems all right. First down as Holloway drops straight back, as all day. Goes down the middle with it. The ball is bobbing around, and Jackson can't pull it in. Threw it pretty hard for such a short pass. He had 2 people deep, but they were taken away from him by the Miami secondary.
The theory of that particular pattern was to hit Jackson underneath Jackson having 4.6 speed and hope that he could outrun going against the grain and make a big gain out of it. Just didn't work.
As I said a while ago, time now is so precious for Oklahoma. Trailing by 13 points. 2nd and 10. Holloway up the middle.
What a play, Keith.
He gets to the 31-yard line, which leaves him 3 yards short of the first down.
Oklahoma is going without the huddle. They need 2 scores, 2 touchdowns, and 2 extra points.
The pass is thrown and dropped by Damon Stell. The pass was thrown low and thrown again very hard by Holloway on a short pattern. It was enough yardage for the first down, but Stell couldn't pull it in. Now it's 4th down. 4th.
Doesn't it sound funny, Keith, calling Keith Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
He's a great player. Just a sophomore. Just a sophomore. Highly recruited by everybody.
Yeah, but he had good sense. He stayed in the general area, stayed in the home area to play his football. I thought the right decision for him. Holloway drops the football. Tried to pick it up, and an Oklahoma man fell on it. But it was 4th down as the ball was tipped away from Holloway, and number 68, Anthony Phillips, fell on it before Holloway could pick it up.
Holloway was going to try to break the rush between Brown and Jones, 98 and 66. And as he comes right up the middle, the ball is just stripped out of him. Just a little bit of inexperience there. The freshman quarterback's substituting for the starter, Troy Aikman. Fumbled the ball.
And with that play and that turnover, it may well have resulted in slamming the door on the Sooners' hopes. Miami comes out. First down at their own 34.
They will run it now, Keith.
Warren Williams picks up 3. Here's Tim.
Handoff goes to number
Dr.
24.
David Fisher, the orthopedic surgeon for Oklahoma. And the first question I have about Troy Aikman, the quarterback. You mentioned to me 6 weeks. If he does come back right around that Nebraska time, will it be too stiff to play, or will he be back at all this season?
Well, it'll depend on how his rehabilitation goes and how his healing is, but I would imagine he'll be awfully stiff because he'll require a cast for at least 6 weeks. And the stiffness in the ankle, just how soon he will limber up, that's just a matter of how fast we can rehabilitate him and how his body responds to it.
I was in there when you looked at the x-rays and you said 6 weeks is the average. Is this a bad break, though, or is it just a green crack?
This is a horrible break for us, but as far as the fracture goes, it's a non-displaced fracture, and it should heal without problem.
Okay, thank you very much.
You bet.
Keith?
Thank you, Timmy. And it's 2nd down right now for Miami at about 7, as Oklahoma now must start spending its timeouts. They have 1 remaining. College Football Scoreboard, a rundown of today's action for you coming right after the telecast is done here in Norman, Oklahoma. And now this big crowd of more than the middle 70s is up and leaving. The 64th consecutive sellout. Miami just trying to kill the clock now. Oklahoma makes contact. They're offside. Trying to anticipate. Sometimes an offensive lineman will move under that kind of pressure, but that looked like an encroachment call against Oklahoma. Darrell Reed, number 40, got started a little too soon.
Keith, the offensive man charged across also, so what they're discussing is, did the offensive man have an instant reaction against the defense, or did he just jump offside? Now, the defense can cross over and then get back. Called it against Oklahoma, like you said. The rule says the offensive man, if it's an instant reaction, instantaneous reaction, then it belongs the penalty to the defense. That helped.
We had a
Miami.
dead ball encroachment penalty on the defense.
And there haven't been that many flags in this game, though. Not really.
Been a well-played game, and the first quarter and a half, it was fierce. It really was, with both offenses just out-executing the defensive counterparts.
2:23 to go in the game. It's 2nd down and 2 for Miami. And they stay with the ground game, but it's a hard row to hoe when you're trying to run against Oklahoma. No gain at all right there on that carry by Warren Williams, who is a 6-footer, 205-pound sophomore out of Fort Myers. Backfield for Miami. Testaverde is a junior, backed up by Jeff Toretta, a junior. Williams, a sophomore. Highsmith, a junior. Bratton, a sophomore. Penny, a sophomore. They're young. There's a graphic to give you an idea of how young these two football teams are.
Keith, it's amazing that both teams, outstanding as they are, have so many sophomores and freshmen playing in the starting lineup.
If they're on your schedule for the future, look out. This is Williams, and he'll have the first down, and that will probably do it.
Keith, the Miami people were talking last night if they could win the day. There's so many similarities to the '83 National Championship team, which lost the opener to Florida and then went on and beat Nebraska in the Orange Bowl. They've got a lot of things going for them, and a tremendous quarterback, good running game. Their defense doing quite well today, so there's a chance for it to work the same way.
Well, their future schedule is Louisville, as we told you, then Florida State. They got Florida State and Maryland back-to-back, both on the road. And then they finish with Colorado State, and the final game, November 30, is Notre Dame.
They do not have an easy road, but with this quarterback, Testaverde, I think they're capable of beating anybody in America, particularly with the running attack that they have to at least make the defensive team opponents stay honest.
1:47 remaining now as a 5-yard penalty is marked off against Miami for motion. So it'll be first down and 15 for the Hurricanes. Stan Berkovich, my old friend of so many years, and now the athletic director at Miami. I don't want to see him. He's got to be walking on air. He'll be 9 feet high.
Sam's done a good job of raising money, hired Jimmy Johnson, chose Jimmy late in the season. Jimmy's done a great job of, under tough circumstances last year, Keith, coming in June and trying to coach when Schellenberger left. And now this year, the first full year, spring and fall, he reshaped his defense according to his style, kept the same offense that Schellenberger used.
World Series, 8 o'clock tonight. Jackson and Tudor.
Going to be a great one, Keith. Those neighborhood rallies, those neighborhood rivalries like this bring a lot of intensity to the game.
Loss of the designated hitter, though, may impact Kansas City some. They don't have it this year. The pitchers have got a hit. Second down and 13, and this is Williams getting some work in the late going here. We didn't see a whole lot of Warren during the course of the ball game. He was in early, then gone most of the second and third quarters, and we're now rolling along inside 40 seconds to play in the football game with the Miami Hurricanes coming to Norman, Oklahoma, and against the top defense in the nation, run up a 27-7 lead. It is now 27-14, and the outcome is academic. The Hurricanes will go home with a victory, and the Oklahoma Sooners will face their first loss.
This will be the last snap, Keith. Great effort by Miami. Oklahoma has nothing to be ashamed of. Tremendous effort on their part.
Miami set the tone for the ball game in the first quarter as Testaverde hooked up with Irvin for a 56-yard pass play. And from that point on until the game was pretty much in hand, it was the forward pass that Miami used to pierce the armor of Oklahoma. And they win it by a final score of 27-14 on the road.